741. 3 moves. 741. 3 moves. Long Fei rushed out, seeing that Wang Qingshan was heavily injured, that Dao Feng was heavily injured, and that the other disciples were all smashed to the ground by the powerful pressure. Long Fei was instantly enraged. Puchi! Ha! Ha ha ha! The demon powerhouses wildly laughed. You? His laughter was filled with contempt, as though he had heard a hilarious joke. Indeed, in his eyes, Long Fei was just a joke. Because of Long Fei's level, the demon experts couldn't help but mock him. You, a level 1 berserk immortal scum, can actually kill Ghost Dragon? God Emperor Academy has specially groomed such a braggart? Level 1 berserk immortal? Hearing the words of the demon powerhouses, everyone was shocked. Isn't Long Fei a spiritual level 6? How did he break through to the first level of the crazy immortal realm? Can he fly? The cultivation of the demon experts were much higher than any of them. He could not be mistaken. Long Fei was definitely at the first stage of the wild immortal realm, and in less than a day he had already reached the first stage of the wild immortal realm. Let alone a genius. Even Heavenly Hall of Immortals Esbak then could not do such a thing. Han Xueji looked at Dao Feng and said, "Didn't the 3 of you work together to kill the undying ghost dragon?" Dao Feng shook his head. "It wasn't us, it was Long Fei who killed him." Wang Qingshan looked at the Long Fei in the distance and said, "Long Fei, this is none of your business." When the demon expert saw their expressions, his smile faded and his eyes turned sinister. He stared at Long Fei and said, "First stage of the wild immortal realm, killing Ghost Dragon?" It wasn't that he didn't believe it. It was something impossible. However, the demon powerhouses felt the fearless aura coming from Long Fei's body, and their instincts told them, this brat is not simple. Moreover, although Long Fei was only at the first stage of the raging immortal stage, he was stronger than Dao Feng and the others combined to pressure him. Could he be the God Emperor Academy's demon slayer, a peerless genius? The demon expert's heart trembled. He looked at Long Fei and asked, "Did you kill the undying ghost dragon?" Long Fei slowly walked over, looked at the demon expert, and asked, "Do you want to try?" He wasn't afraid in the slightest. However, the Yin Huang ancestor reminded Long Fei again and again, "You are not his opponent, so don't go crazy recklessly." The demon powerhouse's face was full of contempt and said with a sneer, "Try? How do you want to try?" Long Fei said, "It's simple. Take 3 of my moves. If you can take it, I'll spare your life." Dao Feng, Wang Qingshan, Han Xueji, everyone looked at Long Fei. They were all wondering if what they said was the opposite. Was it Long Fei who had received 3 moves from the demon experts and then released them? The demon powerhouses coldly laughed. "Brat, arrogance requires strength. If you don't have strength, you are courting death." Long Fei said, "Don't be blind. I'm just asking if you dare. If you don't dare, then scram to the side and return to your Western Sky demon race. Don't let me see you again, or else I'll beat you up every time I see you." Arrogant? If that's the case, then you have to be unbearably arrogant. The demon expert threw Dao Feng away and stared at him. "All right, then I'll take 3 of your moves. Let's see what tricks you have up your sleeve." As soon as he finished, Long Fei's footsteps moved and he roared out in his heart, "Black Dragon, can I borrow some strength now?" Roar! A dragon's roar and a roar. Long Fei's right hand grabbed onto the dragon's salyer and moved. First move, Dark Dragon God Slash. His heart exploded with excitement. He's unparalleled at level 5. The attribute strength of 32 burst forth. The power of metal dragons. Open. Roar. The illusory image of the dark dragon god roared out, and a powerful energy enveloped the body of the dragon salyer, causing the surface of the dragon's salyer to burn frantically. Long Fei moved as though he was flying, locking onto the demon expert and slashing down with his blade. "Catch it for me." Too arrogant. The strength of this slash was too crazy. Dao Feng looked at the dragon spirit shadow crashing down from the sky and was shocked to the point of being a complete mess as he said, "This brat, isn't it too strong?" Wang Qingshan said. In the arena, he had actually been hiding his strength. If not, I would not even be able to take half a move right. Long Fei's strength increased. The reason was simple. He had consecutively leveled up 4 levels. Without leveling up a level, his strength would become stronger, and the strength of the Dark Dragon God would also increase. Then again, he had fused with the Immortal Foundation's power. This kind of immortal energy was able to make his power even more unbridled and fearless. The demon expert raised his eyes slightly and thought to himself, this is definitely not a power that the arrogant immortal state can produce. However, it's still too weak. The demon powerhouse didn't go to defend, but moved his 2 fists, Devil Explosion Fist. The 2 fists continued to strike at the void. Bang, bang, bang. Each fist was stronger than the last. Long Fei's Dark Dragon God Chop was shattered into pieces before it could even land on the ground. Yan Huang, ancestor, said, the difference in realm is too great. Long Fei's body shot out, exploding backwards. His vital energy and blood tumbled below his chest, making him feel incomparable discomfort. He roared in his heart once again. The second move. Killing God Chop. Chua. This time, the power was completely different. When the power of the killing thought erupted, Long Fei swung his blade down on the demon expert again. Compared to the previous slash, this slash was even more brutal. Moreover, the power became even more ferocious. Han Xueji started to tremble. I'm about to fall in love with him. Dao Feng was also incomparably excited. Incredible. This is incredible, this brat. I'm going to fall in love with him too. Han Xueji disdainfully said, Dao Feng, what is a stinky man like you fighting with me for a man for? Wang Qingshan said, can you all not speak? The expression of the demon expert also changed. To be able to release even more power, this child's talent is definitely not simple. Could it be that he possesses some kind of supreme blood veins power? Facing the incomparably powerful killing God Chop, he did not dare let his guard down. The demonic shadow covered the sky. His strength exploded out, directly raising him to 80%. With a swing, a long blade appeared in his hand. Slash! Kacha, kacha, kacha! The sky exploded. The 2 forces seemed to be on the verge of splitting apart, clashing against each other. There was no light on the ground. It was as if 100,000 magical beasts were roaring in the sky. Whoosh! Bang, bang, bang! Long Fei was forced back by several hundred meters. Every step he took, there was a deep footprint beneath his feet that smashed into a stone pillar. The blood energy below his chest churned, and he was no longer able to endure it any longer as he spat out a mouthful of blood. The demon powerhouses stood in the air, motionless. On the surface, he seemed to be fine, but the shock in his heart was incomparable. He's too strong. If he were to grow up, it would definitely be a hidden danger for the demons. We can't let this child live. Long Fei steadied himself and wiped away the blood from the corner of his mouth. He rushed forward once again and unleashed 3 moves consecutively. He said coldly, there is still one more move. The third move, Big Day, Tashigata. Chapter 742, Don't Fight With Me for a Man. Chapter 742, Don't Fight With Me for a Man, the idea moved. Once the skill was released, the power of Celestial in Long Fei's body was immediately emptied. At the same time, all of the power in his body shot up into the sky. The sky split open, and the thunderclouds in the sky were shattered by a golden palm print. Boom! 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 The sound of wind breaking exploded like thunder. Long Fei deeply roared. Take my third move. Chua! A golden palm imprint struck down, bringing with it endless power of the Holy Buddha. Dao Feng looked up into the sky. There's such a palm technique? I have never seen a palm technique that falls from the sky. Wang Qingshan also had a face full of shock. Long Fei, just who is he? He has shocked me time and time again, and I've discovered that I want to fall in love with him as well. All of you scram. He's mine. Han Xueji became excited. You said that you 2 men are the same as me, and want to snatch the man away? Long Fei, you dead bastard. I am yours tonight. Please don't be soft-hearted. You can ravage me as much as you want. You can ravage me as much as you want. Han Shueji then revealed a seductive pose, which made people spurt out jade blood. Half of her big breasts was about to pop out from her clothes. Made the blood vein explode. Zheng Qingsong said, "Can you guys calm down a little? Long Fei is still fighting with his life on the line, and he hasn't received the 3 moves yet. What do you think of the demon powerhouses?" The faces of Han Shueji and the other 2 shivered. They were too excited as they watched the huge palm strike down from the sky. This kind of shock was simply incomparable, as if it was coming straight to the peak. The 3 of them immediately stopped talking. At this time, Zheng Qingsong stood up and shouted, "Young Master Long, I love you. I want to give birth to your baby. You're too handsome." Han Shueji said, "Damn you. Another one came to steal my man. Dao Feng, can you do a bit more? Wang Qingshan, I curse you to be only 3 centimeters tall." Although the 4 of them were joking, they were extremely nervous. They were worried for Long Fei. The demon powerhouse looked at the huge palm descending from the sky. His face was gloomy. He couldn't find any place to break it. This person, who exactly are they? No way. The eyes of the demon powerhouse turned sinister as he roared in his heart. Instantly, the area around his body started to burn, frantically burning up. The scarlet flames trembled as they faced the gigantic palm in the sky. Shwa! His body shot up like a rocket. With a move of his palms, he blasted them towards the sky. Kacha, kacha, kacha. When the 2 palms came into contact with the giant golden palm print, the sky darkened and dust flew everywhere. Demon experts were being continuously crushed, and he also kept howling, "Ah! Ah!" His palms were splitting apart, unable to withstand it at all. In the end, he used his shoulder to resist, but it was the same. His body crazily descended, and the strength of the giant palm was just too great. It was so powerful that even Long Fei himself felt his blood boiling. Big Day Tashigata is really fierce. Too fierce, huh? He didn't know what cultivation level the demon experts had, but they were definitely very strong. Facing the Big Day Tashigata, he had no way to resist it. "Press!" Long Fei shouted loudly. Rumble! Rumble! The gigantic palm, descending from the sky, could be seen from a distance of 1,000,000 km, half the size of the immortal city. The demon powerhouse let out a roar, and his whole body was crushed on the ground. Half of the city collapsed, and a huge handprint was left in the city. The demon powerhouses frantically cried out. The pain from having their minds crushed was incomparably unbearable, and he had never been this afraid in his life before. The feeling of having brought him to hell was too unbearable. Buildings continued to collapse within the immortal city. From a high vantage point, it looked like a giant handprint. The depth of the handprint was 3 meters, terrifying to behold. Long Fei took a step forward and floated up into the air. He stared at the continuously berserking demon experts on the ground and said, "Can you take 3 of my moves? Do you have any strength left? Since you can take 3 of my attacks, I'll let you live." Long Fei said tyrannically. His eyes were filled with contempt. It was just that. No one knew that he was struggling to hold on. He had already reached the limit of 3 moves and was simply unable to withstand them. If not for the fairy stone root constantly releasing power of celestial S to support him, he would have immediately fainted. Long Fei gritted his teeth and said to himself secretly, "If you want to act tough, you must put on a glove. You absolutely must not fail at this critical point. Hold on, you must hold on." The Big Day Tashigata was indeed powerful. It could crush any demon powerhouse, but it was still not enough. The damage was still not enough to kill him. If the demon rankers could see through him, then he and Dao Feng and the rest would all die. He had to hold on. The demon expert looked at Long Fei and asked, "Just who are you? And what was that palm strike just now?" "This young master's name is Long Fei. I'll remember it." Long Fei sneered. "As for the cultivation technique, do you want to know? I just didn't want to tell you." While they were talking, Long Fei's voice sank as killing intent filled his eyes, and he said, "Hurry up and scram. Do you want me to attack again?" He was truly afraid. And furthermore, he saw that Long Fei was only at the first stage of the Berserker immortal realm. However, he could not see through the depth of Long Fei's strength, as this person was too terrifying. Immediately, the demon expert stared at Long Fei and said, "Long Fei, I'll remember it." After saying that, his body blurred and he bounced up heavily, turning into a ball of light and disappearing into the horizon. Long Fei floated in midair and said loudly, "Take your time." After speaking, his body began to sway. He couldn't hold on any longer and immediately asked in his heart, "Ancestor, has he gone far?" Yin Huang Ancestor said, "I went far." Damn! Long Fei's eyes flipped and he fell from sky. He had reached his limit and could not hold on any longer. It's too tiring to pretend. Almost lost my life. Long Fei fainted as he fell from the sky. 3 moves. It could be said that Long Fei's current 3 strongest moves, not only did they consume power of Celestial, they also consumed his mental energy. Furthermore, during the previous 2 moves, Long Fei had been injured. This was also the reason why he was able to fuse with the Fairy Stone root. The demon powerhouses were also scared silly. If he did not exchange 3 moves with Long Fei would not be his match no matter how strong he was. He had won the bet. Long Fei felt a burst of lingering fear in his heart. What about next time? Can you still have such good luck? Seeing Long Fei falling from midair, Dao Feng anxiously rushed out. Han Xueji immediately shouted out, "Don't steal my man." Chapter 743, 5 Years. Chapter 743, 5 years Long Fei was unconscious. The Azure Dragon, Blood Dragon, Gold Dragon, Black Dragon, and Ghost Dragon, who had just returned to their position, all seemed as if they had exploded as they were in a daze. The Azure Dragon Ancestor asked, "Boss, are you cultivating the godly fruit Buddha art? How come I have never seen it before?" Black Dragon Ancestor also followed. "I've been with Boss for the longest, but I've never seen him use this move. Could Boss have gone to the Buddha world before reincarnating? The Buddhist world is much more powerful than the gods' martial continent." Jin Long continued, "Could this be the Boss' own new move? This move is too cool." Blood Dragon Ancestor also said excitedly, "Boss is truly different from 6 million years ago. He's even more arrogant, overbearing, and even more handsome." Ghost Dragon said, "When can we fight together with Boss? I miss that day so much that my blood boils up just thinking about it. What happened 6 million years ago was just like yesterday." The Azure Dragon Ancestor frowned, then said slightly, "The calamity has arrived. If Boss can't find the Dragon Domain and awaken all of his power before the calamity arrives, I'm afraid we won't be able to escape this calamity." Black Dragon Ancestor asked, "How much time do you have left?" The Green Dragon replied in a low voice, "There's still 5 years left." 5 years. For an ordinary person, 5 years was a bit long. But to warriors, 5 years was really very short, very short. Furthermore, Long Fei's current cultivation level was only arrogant immortal state. So let alone power of Yuan Long, it was not even 1/10,000th of the strength of a Yuan Long. To cultivate to the gods' martial continent's peak realm in 5 years, it was simply too difficult. No one had ever been able to do it. Even the people of the dragon race were the same. Not a single one of them could do such a thing. Hearing this, all the dragons fell silent. They all knew clearly in their hearts that it was impossible to complete the mission at that time. Even if they could find the Dragon Domain, it would be useless because finding the Dragon Domain would make Long Fei stronger. At that time, if the calamity descended, Long Fei would not be able to hold it back at all. It was too difficult. Golden Dragon Master replied, "Big Brother Azure Dragon, can't we help Big Brother?" The Blood Dragon added, "That's right, we can make him stronger faster. Why can't we help him? It's too dangerous for him alone." The power of the gods' martial continent is very complicated now. There are powerful experts from the Hall of Immortals who are eyeing him covetously. Their laws are broken. The giant demons reappear. The Western Devil Flames are getting stronger and stronger. One must know that a lot of these giant demons live in they hate the Long family to the bone, and the boss is the first to bear the brunt of it. Patriarch Ghost Dragon followed. The black dragon looked at the azure dragon. The green dragon shook his head and said, "No, we can't help him. I know what you guys are thinking, but do you think I don't want to help him? However, my boss once told me that if I find him in the future, I must not help him. He must take a new path, one that belongs to him. If we help him, we're not helping him. We're harming him." The azure dragon ancestor's heart was in pain as well. Seeing Long Fei go all out to cultivate, going through danger time and time again, not being able to go out and help, his heart was filled with incomparable pain, pain that no one could understand. The dragons fell silent once more. The azure dragon was their big brother, and also the dragon clan's advisor and advisor. He had followed the Yuan Long the longest, so he was clear about his big brother's everything. No matter what, he couldn't disrupt the Yuan Long's plans. 5 years. Boss, you have to hurry up and rise to power. The green dragon thought to himself. At this rate, it's far from enough. At night, within the immortal city. So soft, so comfortable. Long Fei felt as if he was sleeping on an incomparably soft pillow. This pillow was also extremely elastic. Long Fei rubbed his nose. It smells so good. The scent of a woman. Damn, am I dreaming? Even in my dreams, I want to do more. Please don't wake up. Please don't wake up. Long Fei was drooling from the corner of his mouth, his face full of vulgarity. Wang Qingshan really could not watch any longer, coughed, and said, young Master Long, not waiting for him to finish. Han Xueji said in a strong voice, what are you making such a ruckus about? Don't disturb my man's sleep, otherwise I'll skin you alive. Wang Qingshan immediately shut his mouth and muttered, he still hasn't agreed to it, and he's already become your man. What did you say? Han Xueji glared at him. Wang Qingshan immediately shrank back and laughed. Senior sister, I am saying that being a man is truly blissful. That's more like it. Han Xueji had a face full of smiles as he looked at Long Fei, who was in his embrace, and said, you are my man. He had the domineering aura of a woman. Han Xueji lightly patted Long Fei and said, sleep, sleep, sleep a little more. You're too tired, my heart hurts. Long Fei really wanted to go to sleep. He also wanted to continue this beautiful dream of his, but he could not sleep at all because he saw a large white double peak through the gap of his eyes. Very domineering. The deep gully between the two peaks was able to suck in a person's eyeballs. Cough, cough. Long Fei pretended to cough and opened his eyes in a daze. He looked at the people around and asked, where are we? Young Master Long, you're awake? Good boy. You've finally woken up. If you don't wake up now, I'm really going to die from anxiety. Long Fei, It's good that you're awake. You're really too handsome. Everyone around was excited. Looking at their excited expressions, Han Xueji hugged Long Fei tighter and said, even if he wakes up, there's no part of you. He's my man. Long Fei was a little awkward as he asked, senior sister, about that. Can you let me catch my breath? His face was so close to Han Xueji's chest that it was about to suffocate. Han Xueji immediately let out a sigh of relief, and with the look of a blissful little woman, he said, Xiao Fei Fei, don't be afraid. Senior sister will protect you. Was this the sudden advent of happiness? Or was it too sudden? He suddenly became someone else's man when he woke up. Moreover, she was a beautiful man. Long Fei was really not used to it, but he could not get used to it. He could also see the happiness in Han Xueji's eyes. Like it was not love, but gratitude. Moreover, Long Fei also never thought of liking Han Xueji. He didn't have that thought right now. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, thank you, senior sister, for your protection. And then, Long Fei was worried that Han Xueji would hold him back again, so she changed the topic and looked at Wang Qingshan, asking, Senior brother Wang, has the mission been completed? Wang Qingshan immediately said, it's done. When we return to complete our mission, the elders of the teleportation circle will be here to set up the teleportation circle. Dao Feng looked at Long Fei and said, this time, that class Immortal City's task reward is yours as well. Long Fei, if not for you, I'm afraid that Immortal Domain would have entered the war much earlier. Dao Feng, have never admired anyone before. You're the first one. Chapter 744, Blood Skeleton Battle Team. Chapter 744, Blood Skeleton Battle Team, Western Demons. As the demonic flames burned, dozens of giant demons that had broken through their bindings sat cross-legged in the sea of devils. They were frantically absorbing the spiritual yuan qi of heaven and earth. Although they had broken the laws and escaped with their breaking through the seal, their cultivation had not returned to their peak. They still needed some time to recover. The demon expert from a mortal city knelt on the ground and said, "Lord Devil Ancestor, that brat called Long Fei will become a hidden danger to our demon race in the future." Long Fei, Long Family, a multi-eyed giant demon, his entire head filled with large eyes. His pupils moved as he said in a deep voice, Long Family, Long Wushina." He was instantly enraged. "That year, you put our seal here, and now that I have escaped, I will definitely let your Long Family be turned into ashes on the gods' martial continent." The multicolored devil ancestor let out a furious roar, filled with incomparable rage. Most of the giant demons that rushed out were related to the Long Family. The majority of them were suppressed by the Long Family. They had never forgotten this grudge for the past few million years. With the Long Family, they were irreconcilable. The multicolored devil ancestor stared at him and asked, "Is he the demon slayer in the process of teleportation?" The expert replied, "So far, the heavenly only has one demon slayer. His name is Pan Sheng. He is a disciple of the sky, separating clans Pan family. As for the kid from Long Family, he hasn't become a demon slayer yet, but as far as I know, he was there when we killed Mo." The multi-eyed demon closed his eyes and sank in a deep thought. Half a minute later, he said, "Go to the dark domain first and let Song Chinching speed up. I don't have the time to wait any longer." The expert immediately said, "As you command. Lord Devil Ancestor, where's that kid from Long Family?" The multi-eyed demon ancestor said, "The Heavenly Hall of Immortals has predicted that they will find the Dragon Domain, and only the people from the Long Family will be able to find the Dragon Clan's secret treasures. If he isn't a demon slayer, I think the Heavenly Hall of Immortals is deliberately hiding his identity so that we can ignore him. Seems like." The multi-eyed devil ancestor raised his gaze, looked in the direction of the immortal domain, and said coldly, "Gu Tong Tian, are you still alive and unwilling to give up on the dragon race's secret treasure? Long Family should be your last hope, right? All right then. Then let's see who can obtain the Dragon Clan's secret treasure, and who can obtain the longevity." Early morning, God Emperor Academy, outside the mission hall. Long Fei said, "I really cannot accept the task credit of Immortal City. Senior Brother Dao Feng, there's still some time before the Academy's competition. These points should be very important to you. You can keep it for yourselves." This time, it could be said that Long Fei was making a ton of money. He had leveled up 4 levels consecutively and killed Undying Ghost Dragon. Not to mention that just the Big Day Tashigata alone was extremely profitable. As for the points, dozens of points were of no use to him. This time, when Dao Feng's 6 Holy Sword Troopers went out, with 3 people returning, there was still 1 person who was severely injured. Han Shueji also did not push Dao Feng any further, and said, "Dao Feng, my husband told you to take it as you please. Don't be shy like a woman." Dao Feng did not continue, and said, "Brother Long Fei, then I'll thank you." He really needed the points. Otherwise, he wouldn't have taken a risk to take the A-class mission. At this time, Wang Qingshan walked out of the quest hall. His face was indignant. Zheng Qingsong asked, "Brother Wang, what's wrong?" Wang Qingshan said unhappily, "Zhou Ling and Yang Luoshui actually want to get points." "What? Where are they?" "I actually want to ask what kind of power they used, and what face do they have to come to ask for points?" Zheng Qingsong was instantly infuriated. What happened in the Eternal Mountain Range made all of them very unhappy. He escaped from danger faster than a rabbit. What was this? Team. What was a team? It was a group that could turn its back on its teammates, running away when they were in danger. What kind of teammate was this? What kind of brother was this? After seeing the members of the Holy Sword Troopers and God's Fire Troopers, the atmosphere in Zheng Qingsong's heart grew more tense. Senior Brother Wang, where are they? I would like to ask, do they have the nerve to do so? The more Zheng Qingsong thought about it, the more unhappy he became. Wang Qingshan immediately said, forget it, forget it. It was also at this time. A group of people walked out of the mission hall. Zhou Ling sneered. We were the ones who accepted the mission. Now that it's completed, I naturally have to split the points. What's there to be embarrassed about? There was no fear. It was because there was a group of people standing behind him. Zheng Qingsong didn't care that much as he took a step forward and said, Zhou Ling, what power did you use? As a poison master, have you ever released poison before? If not for Long Fei, would you still be alive today? What qualifications do you have to get points with us? Yang Luo Shui sneered and said, Zheng Qingsong, whether or not we have qualifications is not up to you to judge. Wang Qingshan pulled Zheng Qingsong back and said in a low voice, Brother Zheng, forget it. We can't just let this go like this. The missions are basically all done by Long Fei himself. We're all under his care, so I can give all of the task credit to Long Fei. But I will absolutely not give you any points. Zheng Qingsong was unconvinced. Why? You don't do anything and you want to get points for nothing? What are they? At this time, one of the people by Zhou Ling's side walked over, stared at Zheng Qingsong and laughed. You're just a trash of the first grade and you dare be so arrogant. What's wrong with my brother giving points? Are you in a bad mood? If you don't like it, do you believe that I won't cripple you? His body was very strong and strong. Moreover, his body radiated with a strong burst of immortal foundation energy. His immortal foundation had broken through at least 6 levels. Moreover, what made everyone suppress was not his cultivation level, but the armband on his chest. The armband of a team. A blood skeleton dripping with blood. Blood skeleton battle team. The 5th ranked team in God Emperor Academy was extremely powerful. Their cultivation were all at the Berserk Immortal Peak realm, and their leader had even stepped into the virtual Immortal stage. In the God Emperor Academy, the Blood Skeleton was extremely famous. Amongst all the teams, the Blood Skeleton Battle Team had the most members. When Zheng Qingsong saw the armband of the Blood Skeleton, his face darkened. The sturdy man laughed coldly and said, Why aren't you being arrogant anymore? Continue speaking. For a trash like you, leaving God Emperor Academy would not take more than 3 seconds. He was confident that he could kill Zheng Qingsong within 3 seconds. An inscriptionist, a trash existence. Zheng Qingsong's face turned ugly. Seeing his brother being crushed, Long Fei was in a bad mood. Dao Feng took a step forward. Han Xueji also took a step forward. Wang Qingshan also stepped forward. The other brothers also stepped forward and entered battle mode. Chapter 745. What's wrong with bullying you? Chapter 745. What's wrong with bullying you? Brothers, let's attack together. They shared both good fortune and bad fortune. This is what a true brother should be like. Long Fei was very excited to the point that these people valued friendship. Dao Feng walked forward and stared at the sturdy man and said, Xiong Feng, you have to have principles in your conduct. This is a matter of their team. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with you. Ha! Xiong Feng laughed out loud and said, I forgot to tell you, the 2 of them are now members of my Blood Skeleton Battle Team. Do you think it has anything to do with me? It's you, Dao Feng. Who do you think you are? This is my business with these trash teams. What does it have to do with your Holy Sword Troopers? Don't tell me you want to fight with my Blood Skeleton. Does your Holy Sword Troopers have the qualifications to do so? In his eyes, he did not place Dao Feng in his eyes at all. A team that auctioned 16 didn't have any qualifications to clamor in front of him. Dao Feng's expression changed and said, Do you think I don't dare? Ha! Xiong Feng sneered, then said, There are only 3 people left in your Holy Sword Troopers, and with just you handicapped veterans, I can crush all of you by myself. Furthermore, you're fighting with my Blood Skeleton. Right now you're not even in the top 30. What qualifications do you have to fight with me? Are you worthy? Han Xueji was not in a good mood as she heard this. Madman Xiong, this old lady also wants to fight with your blood skeleton. Yo, Great Beauty Han has gone berserk. I'm really scared. Xiong Feng acted like he was afraid. Facing him, he sneered and said, Han Shueji, what rank is your team, and what rank is my blood skeleton? You don't have the qualifications, do you understand? I advise you to calm down a bit. Otherwise, your face that can still be sold outside will be ruined by someone else. Xiong Feng was very arrogant. The blood skeleton was his ace in the hole. Dao Feng was crushed. Han Shueji was also crushed. Indeed, just like what Xiong Feng had said, they did not even have the qualifications to start a war with the blood skeleton. Their strength and rankings were too low. Xiong Feng alone was enough to crush them to the point that they couldn't even breathe, let alone the entire blood skeleton team. What this world brought close was strength. If you don't have the strength and you aren't strong enough, then you don't have the right to speak or the right to speak. This was reality. Long Fei looked at Xiong Feng and asked, May I ask, what qualifications do I need to fight with your blood skeleton? The corner of Xiong Feng's eyes glanced at Long Fei and instantly ignored him. He stared at Wang Qingshan and said, You are Wang Qingshan, right? My brother said just now that the points were divided incorrectly. There's still one more dead person whose points haven't been distributed to them. You should redistribute them now. A simple sentence. However, it carried an endless amount of pressure, as if black could bully commoners. If I tell you to give it, you have to give it. If you don't, I'll kill you. Xiong Feng had this tone right now. He was not discussing with Wang Qingshan, but commanding. Wang Qingshan's face darkened. Zheng Qingsong could not hold it in and shouted, Aren't you asking for too much? Wang. Xiong Feng's body also instantly erupted into a burst of powerful qi that crushed everything around him and instantly smashed Zheng Qingsong to the ground. Both of his eyes coldly glanced, and he said, I'm only asking you to take out the points from that dead disciple of yours. If you dare be cocky in front of me again, I'll take away your points as well. Dao Feng and Han Shueji immediately rushed forward. It was also at this time the disciples of the Blood Skeleton battle team behind Xiong Feng all rushed forward at the same time. All of a sudden, they were in a state of tension, ready to strike at any moment. If they fought, Han Shueji and the rest would definitely not be his match. Wang Qingshan immediately said, I'll take it. Zheng Qingsong struggled to answer. They are too much of a bully, Brother Wang. Don't give them a reason. Find an elder for them. Humph! Xiong Feng snorted and said with contempt, The captain is the captain. Do you know what is good for you? Then he looked at Zheng Qingsong, who was lying on the ground, and sneered. Even if you wanted to seek the principal to judge me, I'm not afraid of you. Let me tell you a lesson. In this world, whoever's fist is stronger has reason, understand? Little scum. This was obviously bullying. I'm just bullying you what's wrong. You don't accept this? What's the use of not admitting it? If you have the guts, then do it to me. There was no other way. Wang Qingshan also knew that being bullied made all of them unhappy, but what could they do? Your cultivation is not as high as theirs, so no matter how much you jump, others can crush you to death with one hand. Just as Xiong Feng had said, whoever's fist was stronger would have their reasons. Wang Qingshan slightly said, I will exchange points with you. Haha. Xiong Feng revealed a complacent smile and coldly looked at Dao Feng and Han Shueji, his face filled with a disdainful sneer. Battling with me? You are too inexperienced. It was also at this time. Long Fei asked again, May I ask, what qualifications do I have to start a war with your blood skeleton? Dao Feng frowned, his eyes signaling for Long Fei not to do anything rash. Han Shueji also moved a little, moving 2 steps towards his side. Xiong Feng looked at Long Fei, and this time he looked very seriously, and then laughed. You really want to fight with my blood skeleton, huh? Long Fei said indifferently, I don't really want to start a war, I just want to cripple all of you, and that's all. Cluck, cluck. Xiong Feng clenched both of his fists, causing the joints on his body to crack as he glared at Long Fei with eyes as wide as diamond. All of a sudden, the atmosphere was extremely tense. Long Fei did not move at all with the 8 winds, and not a single ripple could be seen on his body. Crush him? As cultivation was not qualified. However, Dao Feng and Han Xueji were extremely nervous. If Xiong Feng made a move, they would not hesitate to counterattack. 3 seconds later, Xiong Feng suddenly laughed out loud. Haha, you little scum. Did you nearly pee your pants? Laughter in one hand. Xiong Feng's gaze darkened and instantly became gloomy. He took a sudden step forward and stood in front of Long Fei, and because he was taller than Long Fei by a head, he stared down at him from above and said sinisterly, "Kid, you remember this. This is because this is the God Emperor Academy. If this was the outside world, you would have already died." His tone was thick with killing intent. Long Fei was not afraid in the slightest as he said indifferently, "If you were outside, you would have died the moment you took the first step." Hee. As Xiong Feng got angry, the aura on his body became more and more violent. Long Fei was very hard. He wasn't scared in the slightest. At this time, an elder coughed and asked, "What are you guys doing?" Xiong Feng's gaze turned cold, and he retreated half a step. He placed one hand on Wang Qingshan's shoulder and smiled at the elder. Nothing. We're just playing around." Then he said to Wang Qingshan in a low voice, "If you dare spout nonsense, I will make you regret it for your entire life." Chapter 746, Arrogant Dragon Squad. Chapter 746, Arrogant Dragon Squad. I'm so King unhappy. I'm very unhappy. Zheng Qingsong gritted his teeth so hard that they were about to shatter. He was in comparable rage. Everyone in the room was the same, and they were all unconvinced. This was naked bullying. Moreover, they couldn't return the favor, and felt that they were especially useless. Wang Qingshan walked into the courtyard, looked at them and said, "Don't move. It's just a little point. Don't affect your cultivation. The academy competition is about to begin. You can't be affected at this time." Zheng Qingsong said, "Brother Wang, are you going to let them bully you like this? Who would be willing to be bullied? Who would want to be bullied and shout out?" Wang Qingshan was probably angrier than anyone else. On the surface, he pretended that nothing happened, but the anger in his heart raged. But he knew that in this world, strength was everything. Wang Qingshan smiled faintly and said, "The days ahead will still be long. 30 years of flowing water to the east and 30 years to the west. Brother Zheng, don't worry about it. You're already in the stage of a 6th grade violent laughter. You can't be distracted by your cultivation during this period." Dao Feng slightly said, "Junior Brother Wang is right. The river flows eastward in 30 years. Zheng Qingsong asked, "Do we have 30 years? The God Emperor Academy only has a few years. Can you take this line down?" At this moment, the people in the yard fell silent again. Indeed, 30 years was too long, and it was impossible to take revenge in such a short period of time. Moreover, the top-ranked teams all had the support of elders, and some even had the support of the principal. It was simply impossible to stomp over the blood skeleton. Long Fei asked, "I just want to know, what qualifications do I have to fight against blood skeleton?" Always wanted to know, but no one said anything. Dao Feng said indifferently, "There's an unwritten rule regarding battle between teams. Ranking between teams cannot exceed 6. If you want to fight with the blood skeleton, then your team must be at least ranked 10th. If not, you do not have the qualifications. The God Emperor Academy battle team's ranks and abilities are completely different. Wanting to enter the top 10 is practically impossible. The number of Holy Sword Troopers was 16. Spent an entire 3 years to do this. However, wanting to enter the 15th place was extremely difficult. Now that the Holy Sword Troopers had lost 3 members, it was already impossible for them to advance any further. Long Fei asked again, "Then, how do I raise my rank?" "Relying on task credit?" Han Xueji said, "Doing a mission to earn points is only a way. It takes too long. If we want to enter the top 10, I'm afraid even we won't be able to do it on the day we graduate." Long Fei asked, "What other way is there?" Han Xueji said, "In the Academy's tournament, there will also be a team competition. It's just like your newbie ranking tournament. It's also a team ranking competition. All teams, Reset your rankings, reshuffle your cards. However, I'm afraid our team won't be able to maintain our current ranking this year. A few newly formed teams have advanced by leaps and bounds. They're unstoppable. Dao Feng also laughed bitterly. My Holy Sword troopers might fall below rank 30. 3 years of hard work, and it was all for nothing. Dao Feng was unwilling, but there was nothing he could do. Long Fei asked, "Team ranking? All right, then let's do the team ranking." Long Fei clenched his fists and said, "Then let's trample Blood Skeleton to death at the ranking tournament." Everyone looked up at Long Fei. It was like looking at a stranger. Wang Qingshan said, "Long Fei, the Blood Skeleton battle team is much stronger than you can imagine. And the ranking of the battle team is a group battle. It's not a battle that can be fought by a single person." Long Fei did not wait for him to finish and directly interrupted him. "I'm just asking you guys, do you want to take revenge?" Zheng Qingsong instantly replied, "Yes." Long Fei shouted, "Louder! Do you want to stomp Blood Skeleton down and slap him fiercely in the face?" "Yes." "Louder!" "Yes." Everyone in the yard stood up as the sound of his voice shook the sky. Long Fei grinned and laughed excitedly. "If you want, do it. We have to make sure they can't even raise their heads when we're on the team rankings." Long Fei said fiercely, "Competing with ferocity, comparing with arrogance? This daddy has never lost to anyone." Han Shueji said, "We have 3 teams now. Your team has less than 500 points and is unable to enter the team ranking tournament." Dao Feng said, "My team does not have enough people. If we were to recruit people now, it would be too late." Long Fei said, "Since that's the case, let's rebuild the team." Huh. Everyone in the yard was stunned. Han Shueji immediately laughed excitedly. "I'll listen to my man." A black line hung on Long Fei's forehead as he said, 500 points. We still have 3 months until the Academy's large competition. Is 500 points hard to come by? Dao Feng laughed. "Leave the points to me. I promise I'll settle this before the Academy competition." Wang Qingshan said, "I can help." Zheng Qingsong said, "Me too." Long Fei looked at them and said, "Senior brother Dao Feng, senior sister Han, your battle has been in existence for many years. If you guys want to establish a new team, your team will have to be eliminated." Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Dao Feng said, "As long as you can vent your anger, I will cancel your name. It's not a big deal, and Holy Sword Troopers is not famous to begin with." Han Shueji said, "I will listen to my man, he." Long Fei. It really was deadly. Every time Han Shueji teased Long Fei, being teased by a mature woman with a big chest and big butt, and it was even several times a day, who would be able to take it? Zheng Qingsong said, "To create a new team, what is the name of the team?" Dao Feng, Han Shueji, and the others all looked at Long Fei. Long Fei was able to bring them out of the Immortal City, and was able to kill and injure the demon experts. From that moment onwards, Long Fei was the core of their group. Long Fei's strength impressed every single one of them. Long Fei thought for a moment, then said, "Kuang Long, it's even crazier than the dragons above the 9th heaven. Isn't Blood Skeleton arrogant? Then we'll use our incomparably arrogant postures to ruthlessly crush them." Dao Feng's eyes began ablaze. "Kuang Long, arrogant dragon squad, good." Han Shueji also revealed an excited face and said, "My man is truly handsome. The names he gives are all so handsome. I love you." Wang Qingshan was also extremely excited. "Good name." Long Fei said, "Big brother Dao Feng, you are the oldest here, you are the team leader, and I will leave the team points to you." Dao Feng did not hesitate. Being the leader was even better. It was even better to cover for Long Fei. On the contrary, it would give Long Fei more time to cultivate. Dao Feng nodded his head. "All right, leave everything to me." Long Fei continued, "In this period of time, give me a list of all the things that you need for your cultivation, and I will send all of you soaring into the sky." Chapter 747, The Motivation of Strengthening. Chapter 747, The Motivation of Strengthening. Since he had to do it, Long Fei would definitely be the best. In the team ranking tournament, there will definitely be blood for blood. Long Fei returned to the logistics department's residence. Leader Sun and the others had long heard of what happened to Long Fei in the quest hall. Just as Long Fei returned to his residence, Leader Sun and the others walked up and said, "Long Fei, Blood Skeleton is not an ordinary team. You should be careful." Fan Tong said, "Blood Skeleton has the support of 2 more elders, so it's possible that their ranking tournament this time will take another step forward. If they enter the top 3, they will be protected by the Academy at that time. If we offend them, they will do everything they can to protect us. If we can't do it on the open or on the dark, then we can't do it on the dark, and if we can't do it on the dark, then we can't do it on the dark. In short, they cannot lose, and only they bully people, and no one dares to bully them. Even the first few teams don't dare to provoke them. Although they were janitor disciples, no one knew more about the Academy than they did. They are the channels of information. As for the members of the various College of Martial Arts Training S, they all knew their strength like the palm of their hands." Long Fei looked at Leader Sun and the others. Their concern filled him with gratitude, and said, "Don't worry. If Blood Skeleton isn't strong, I wouldn't be interested in him. The stronger you are, the more fun it will be." Everyone was taken aback. The Sun Data said, "Long Fei, since you have decided to do it, then we will give you our full support. We will not be able to help, but we will help you gather information regarding various aspects of the Blood Skeleton." Long Fei said, "Thank you," Sun Data said. "We are all brothers. Where is the need for thanks?" Haha. During this period of time, Lu Ba had still not appeared. From the looks of it, he would never appear again. Logistics department was also very happy, and it could be considered to be a joyous laughter that he hadn't had in a long time. In the dead of night, Long Fei did not stay idle and entered the forest at the back of the mountain. Bedevilment. Buzz! The god's devil body appeared, took out the god's devil token, and entered the god's devil space to cultivate. Especially the big day Tashigata, it was such an overpowered damage. However, the consumption of power of Celestial for Long Fei was also extremely huge. Other than the turn Yen Long into God that he was still unable to use, the consumption of power of Celestial was the greatest. All of a sudden, you emptied all the power of Celestial in your power of Celestial slot. Long Fei was, after all, not a character within a game. He was a living person, and the instantaneous hollowing out of the power of Celestial would greatly affect both his mental strength and his physical body. The coma in the Immortal City was also a normal effect. Yin Huang ancestors said, "The stronger the divine arts, the stronger the energy consumed. If you want to stop fainting, the only thing you can do is to continuously strengthen your body. There's only one way to train the body. That is to continuously crush and break one's own limits. Although your current physical body is a saint body, you are still too weak." Long Fei said, "Cultivating my physical body requires a lot of time. I don't have much time left. I do not have much time to cultivate my physical body. And since the big day Tashigata can make me unconscious, then I will continue to cultivate to break through, reducing the time spent in this kind of coma or disappear." Zhang Xian was moved. Long Fei shouted loudly, "Big day Tashigata!" Buzz! With a loud noise, the entire God's Devil space felt like it was about to explode. The power of Celestial in Long Fei's body was also instantly emptied out. His mental force withered, and his body sank again. The sky and earth spun, and he lost consciousness. It was too hard. His brain couldn't bear it. However, it was just too exciting. The power of this move was too strong. Half an hour later, Long Fei woke up. "How long was I unconscious for?" Yin Huang ancestor said, 33 minutes. Again, Long Fei let out another furious shout and released the big day Tashigata once more. His body sank even deeper as he fainted. Actually, this kind of training was also a type of physical body training. If Long Fei was unable to improve his physical body in a short period of time, then he would let his physical body get used to this feeling and slowly decrease the amount of time he lost consciousness. Then he wouldn't be unconscious. He had never considered himself a genius. Be it in terms of talent or potential, Long Fei did not consider himself to be a genius who needed to work hard to quickly break through. The only thing he could rely on was his hard work. He was going all out. He put in all his effort, going completely mad. Early morning, when Long Fei walked out of the small forest, he was like a frosted eggplant. He did not have the slightest bit of spirit. He fetched a bucket of water from the well and poured it over his head. Awesome! The iciness was bone-piercing, causing Long Fei's exhausted body to have quite a bit of mental energy. After changing into a clean set of clothes, Long Fei headed down the mountain. It had been almost half a month since he entered Deep Academy. Elder Chiu and that old man in green should have already recovered from their injuries. All that was left was the recovery of their cultivation. Long Fei kept this matter in mind. 2 hours later, Long Fei walked into Chiu Wandao's courtyard. At this moment, the moment Long Fei walked into the courtyard, Fatty Chun came over. Boss. Man Tualuo's eyes flashed with a bright light. Seeing Long Fei's happiness, she smiled lightly and said, "Young Master Long." Xiao Ying was also there, and upon seeing Long Fei, he immediately shouted, "Young Master Long is mighty." All three were there. Moreover, compared to half a month ago, their cultivation base had improved by quite a lot, especially the defensive aura exuding from Fatty Chin's godly armor. It gave off the feeling that it had missed something. It was very thick. Holy Armor King Kong were just not the same. Long Fei said, "Everyone is here." Today was also the appointed time, so Xiao Ying and Man Tualuo were fine. Fatty Chun had sneakily ran out. This time he would definitely be punished, but he was already used to it. From the very first day, he entered the profound college of martial arts training. Xiao Tianwu had never stopped punishing him, and she would also heavily punish him with small matters. If you couldn't find an excuse, you could just create something out of nothing. In other words, you wouldn't have the time to train or learn. Xiao Tianwu had sought him out several times, asked him to leave Long Fei, and cut off their relationship. Fatty Chun did not even bother to answer. He just said one word, "Scram." Xiao Tianwu punished him even more harshly. The more he punished, the more determined he became. He had to become stronger, even stronger. Compared to Long Fei, Fatty Chun knew clearly that he was far from enough. However, Long Fei did not know about any of these. Seeing the excitement in their eyes, Long Fei thought that they were all doing well. It was just that. What he did not know was that Fatty Chun was punished every day. Man Tualuo was like a medicine boy in the Spirit Poison Academy. He did not teach her what she wanted to learn. Xiao Ying was more or less a servant in College of War Martial Arts, running errands and carrying items. He was like a servant, but his identity was slightly better. They did not let Long Fei know about any of this. All obstacles would become the driving force behind their growth. Chapter 748, Deep Vengeance. Chapter 748, Deep Vengeance because of the Pan family's interference. Because of the influence of Gu Wuji's identity as a heavenly fairy hall elder. As long as one was related to Long Fei, they would be unfairly treated. Although the Pan family could not enter the Deep Academy within 2 years, the influence of Pan Shang's words still existed. The title Demon Slayer had too great of an influence. It was right at Gu Wuji. Who would dare to offend a clan elder of a heavenly hall of immortals? Furthermore, he had many disciples in the God Emperor Academy, and all of them were elders. Who would dare not to give face to a principal? That was why Long Fei had been rejected by the 18 great matrial halls. His brothers and friends had received endless oppression. If Long Fei knew all of this, he would have turned the world upside down. Chiu Wandao walked out of the house. In just half a month, his white hair had turned into frost, and he looked like an old man in his 80s. Weak, Long Fei secretly felt pain in his heart as he looked at Chiu Wandao. Thus would definitely do his best to heal his injuries. Chiu Wandao looked at Long Fei and laughed. "You brat, you're really amazing." Just after entering the God Emperor Academy for half a month, he had already become the #1 on the Wind Cloud list. Long Fei was shocked. "My father..." Chiu Wandao's mouth was about to leak information, and he immediately changed the topic. "Kid, didn't you say you wanted to cure me?" Now that I've recovered from my injuries, I'll wait for your destruction." As expected, Long Fei's heart tightened. They are indeed related to my father. Long Fei had guessed it from the beginning, but he wasn't too sure. But now, he was certain that the reason why Qiu Wandao and the old man had been protecting him in secret was because his father had given the order. If that was the case, Long Fei thought about the scene at the God Soul Mountain, that powerful figure, and thought to himself, "Is that father?" Since Qiu Wandao didn't say anything, Long Fei didn't ask anymore. He believed that it wouldn't be long before he would meet his father again. Long Fei said, "I thought of a way, but I'm still missing a few things. The reason I'm here is to discuss this with you." The azure-robed old man walked out as well. He was similar to Qiu Wandao, aged beyond compare, with deep wrinkles on his forehead. "Long Fei, you don't have to force yourself. We know that we won't have any hope of surviving this lifetime, but you can be at ease now." "What's that called?" He looked at Qiu Wandao. Qiu Wandao continued, "It's better to live than to die." The azure-robed elder immediately said, "That's right. It's better to die than to live. We didn't think it through at the time, but now it won't happen." They knew this very well. Their muscles and veins were severed, and their cultivation had completely dissipated. The lifespan they had taken from the fight with the heavens was truly disappearing fast. There was no way in the world that they could recover their cultivation level. Long Fei's words were just to comfort them. Qiu Wandao was once the principal of the God Emperor Academy. He knew all the secret techniques in the Martial Repository Pavilion. There was no such cultivation technique in this world. Long Fei secretly clenched his fists inside his sleeves and said, "I already said I will help you guys recover your cultivation, so I will definitely do it." And then Long Fei continued, "I came today to let you all take care of your bodies. At that time, I will let your cultivation recover, and I will break your veins once. That kind of pain, I am worried." Man Toaluo was startled and said, "You want to break it again?" Long Fei slightly nodded and said, "At that time, I did not have the necessary things and could not use them. Moreover, the two elders' bodies were weak at that time, and they had no desire to live at all." Chen Tianfei asked, "Boss, what exactly do you want? We can also help you look for it." Xiaoing also nodded continuously, saying, "That's right." Long Fei slightly said, "Heaven's resurrection grass, the stem of the spirit cultivating flower, and also a type of underworld sea mud. All three things were indispensable." All of these were said by the Yan Huang ancestor. Long Fei had never heard of these three things, and these three things were not even available in the Points Exchange shop. Man Toaluo shook his head. "I have never heard of these three things." As a member of the Medicine Valley, she had never even heard of Fatty Chun and Xiaoing shaking their heads like a rattle drum. "I completely haven't heard of them." Not just them. Even Qiu Wandao and the old man in green were at a loss, as they had never heard of these things. However, they all felt relieved. Although they were not master alchemists, they knew quite a bit about immortal herbs. Coincidentally, they had never heard of any of these things before, so there was only one possibility. Something that doesn't exist. However, their hearts were also filled with gratitude, because this was also Long Fei's kindness, a kindness that comforted them and gave them hope. Qiu Wandao slightly smiled and said, "Brat, I believe in you." Long Fei did not notice Qiu Wandao's expression and said, "Old Qiu, I will definitely find these three things, and they will definitely help you recover and become stronger." "Ha ha!" The elder smiled in excitement as he replied, "Of course." They all laughed, with a happy smile for Long Fei to have this kind of heart. Even if they died, their eyes would still be at peace. They thought that Long Fei had fabricated a few lies to deceive them, but they did not know that what Long Fei had said was true. After half an hour of pleasantries, Long Fei and the rest left the courtyard. Qiu Wandao sat on the stairs, looked at their departing figures, and muttered with a smile, "I almost leaked it." The elder said, with the young lord's intellect, he should have already guessed it. Qiu Wandao was slightly taken aback, then said, "Back then, my master swept across the fighting arena with the title of Nameless, setting a record of 18 consecutive rises. Not many people know that the 18 people he defeated were the elders of the 18 great matrial halls. So how mighty and tyrannical were they? A single disciple defeating an elder of the 18 great matrial halls? Shocking the world and making them sound like ghosts and gods. It could be said, all of 18 great matrial halls were overturned by him alone. The green-robed elder said slightly. At that time, Master's cultivation was much stronger than the young master. Other young master was able to guess who the person behind all of us was, but he didn't know if Long family and Tong Tian Hall of Immortals had a grudge. Qiu Wandao's eyes trembled. He raised his head to look at the sky and faintly said, Master has suffered too much. I will definitely take revenge. Heavenly Hall of Immortals. Supreme God, Grand Elder Gut Tongton. The 8 great elders of the Outer Space Palace. All of them are coveting the secrets of the Long family, and all of them want to obtain the secret treasures of the Dragon Clan. All of them are the enemies of the Long family. A blood feud. Chapter 749, Transactions. Chapter 749, Transactions on the way back to the God Emperor Academy. Long Fei pondered. Right now, he was also a little suspicious of whether the gods' martial continent really had the 3 things that the Yin Huang ancestor said. If there was, why didn't Man Tuo Yuo know? Why were Qiu Wandao and the old man wearing that kind of calm expression? Ancestor, do you or do you not have it? Long Fei didn't know how many times he had asked this, but he felt that a man should keep his word. Since he said he would help Elder Qiu recover his cultivation, then he must do it. The Yin Huang ancestor replied impatiently. I can't be sure either. I can only say that there might be one, but it's extremely difficult to find. If you want me to promise you, I can't guarantee it either. This is the gods' martial continent, not the chaos realm. If this were the chaos realm, I could have immediately given you a direction. In the gods' martial continent, you can only depend on yourself. Some things are by chance. Since the opportunity had not arrived, you couldn't find it no matter how hard you searched. Long Fei asked, Then how do I enter the chaos realm? Yin Huang ancestor. He was speechless. Long Fei was about to go crazy. Yin Huang ancestor said, Don't even mention knowing how to enter. Even if you were allowed to enter the chaos realm, you would still not live past 3 days. The danger level of the chaos realm is several tens of thousands of times greater than here. Kid, there are some things that can't be rushed. Long Fei knew in his heart, but when he looked at Qiu Wandao and the old man in green, he felt upset. I can wait, but old Qiu and the others can't. Look at how old they are now. They have lost all their cultivation, and their longevity will be lost very quickly. They don't have much time left. Yin Huang ancestor also became silent. There was nothing he could do. He could only provide a way to break it. But he could not find 3 things for Long Fei. Everything depended on Long Fei. Seeing Long Fei's silence along the way, Chun Tianfei asked, Boss, the Academy's large competition is in a few months. Are you willing to participate? Long Fei said, I will. I have formed a team. At that time, I'll be participating in the team competition as a team. Xiao Ying asked, Is it because of the Blood Skeleton Battle Team? Man Tuo Yuo followed. I heard that the Blood Skeleton Battle Team is very powerful, with the Great Clan Elder supporting them from the White Tiger Courtyard. They might enter the top 3 in this year's competition. Boss, what team are you on? I want to join too. Chen Tianfei immediately became excited. Xiaoying also jumped up in excitement, raising his hand high up in the air. I want to join as well. Man Tuo Yuo also said, Can I join? No matter what difficulties Long Fei encountered, they would never abandon him. If they are brothers, then let's carry them together. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, The team is still in the process of being formed. If you all want to join, then you all should become stronger as soon as possible. At the very least, it needs to be arrogant immortal state, right? Chun Tianfei immediately replied, No problem. The arrogant immortal state, right? I will definitely train with all my might. Humph. Even if those senior brother S and elders look down on me, I will still desperately cultivate and break through. Xiaoying clenched his fists and said violently. With this motivation, they worked even harder. The four of them passed through a small forest. Suddenly, Long Fei's mind suddenly stopped. The battle intent on his body suddenly soared. His eyes darkened, his gaze sweeping across, and said slightly, "Come out." Instantly, Chun Tianfei entered into battle mode. Xiaoying stood guard beside Man, Tuoluo, and was on high alert. He. A mischievous laughter rang out as a 16 to 17-year-old girl landed on a tree branch. Her two slender legs swayed as she said, You actually sense my presence within 50 meters. Is this your limit?" Long Fei's expression retracted and said, "It's you?" Fatty Chun was a little stunned as he said, "Boss, isn't that the young lady from God's Phoenix Pavilion who was wearing a veil?" It was the veiled girl, Song Chanqian. She glanced at one of the Chun Tianfei's, then looked at him and said, "I know of the three things you have mentioned." Long Fei was shocked and asked, "What are those three things?" Song Chanqian smiled and said, "I know of the heaven continuing grass, the stem of the spirit cultivating flower, and the nether sea mud." Long Fei was even more shocked. He did not sense Song Chanqian's existence from the courtyard, and even the Yin Huang ancestor did not feel it. However, Song Chanqian was definitely close to the courtyard. 100 meters away? If she could hear his conversation from such a distance, she would be too terrifying. Long Fei asked, "You have been following me this whole time?" The corner of Song Chanqian's mouth lifted and said, "God Emperor Academy isn't your home. If you can come, can I come as well? Not only me, but others are following you as well. That blood skeleton battle team member has already found out where the two old men are." Just as she finished speaking, Long Fei's expression changed greatly. And then, he swiftly ran towards the cove. Song Chanqian said, "Don't worry, they have yet to make a move. You don't need to be in such a hurry either." Long Fei stopped and looked at Song Chanqian. "Just who are you?" This girl was too powerful. From the very first moment God's Phoenix Pavilion saw her, Long Fei knew that she was not a simple person. Regardless of cultivation or status, they were both extremely powerful. Song Chanqian giggled and said, "Didn't you know? I am from the Dark Demon region. I am from the demon race." Chun Tianfei said to Long Fei in a low voice, "Boss, the demons won't be in the God Emperor Academy. They will definitely be discovered by the elders." "She's lying to you." Song Chanqian stared at him. A sharp look was revealed in his eyes. He stared straight at Fatty Chun and said, "What is this damn Fatty muttering about?" Chun Tianfei's eyes darkened, his mind was shaken, and his body started trembling uncontrollably. It was incomparably terrifying. Long Fei said in a faint voice, "Go back first. Come back here again half a month later. If I am done with my mission, don't come here anymore." Man Tuoluo looked at Song Chanqian and said, "Long Fei, be careful. I will ask you about the three spirit grasses." Chun Tianfei did not dare to stay. Even if it was his holy armor fairy vein, they would not be able to withstand Song Chanqian's murderous gaze. He had not reached the stage where his holy armor fairy vein could withstand the spiritual pressure. There were only Long Fei and Song Chanqian in the small forest. Long Fei asked, "Speak. Why are you looking for me?" Song Chanqian giggled and said, "It's very simple." While they were talking, she took out the Dragon Head Chinquin map that was quickly drawn in the Secret History Pavilion and said, "Help me find the Dragon Head. I will help you find three things." All this time, she had been trying to unravel the secret of this kind of map. In the end, he concluded that the Dragon Head Chinquin map was the Dragon Head. Long Fei said, "I don't know where it is." Song Chanqian laughed. "Where did I find it?" Long Fei's heart trembled. He also wanted to find out what's hidden inside the Dragon Head Chinquin map. What about the head of the Yuan Long S? Long Fei said, "Add in another condition. Don't you still have a hidden ranker by your side? I want him to protect the two old men in the cove." Song Chanqian said without any hesitation, "Deal." Chapter 750. Hold Me Tight and Fly You. Chapter 750. Hold Me Tight and Fly You. It was straightforward, without any hesitation. Song Chanqian moved. Boom! A 3-meter-tall black panther was summoned. Its entire body was exuding a dense, demonic aura, and its body was covered with simple and unadorned patterns, as if it was some sort of high-grade rune. Its four limbs, in particular, were covered in a black fog. Song Chantian rolled over and landed on the back of the Black Panther. He looked at Long Fei and said, "Come up." Black Panther stared at Long Fei with eyes filled with hostility, its fangs slightly revealed, giving off a feeling of majesty. Moreover, Long Fei was sure that if this guy were to attack him, he wouldn't be able to stop it. A divine beast-level mount. Long Fei jumped up. The Black Panther let out a low growl in annoyance. This was the first time he had been ridden by someone other than Song Chantian, so he naturally felt very unhappy. Song Chantian's voice turned cold and said, "Little Black, listen to me." The Black Panther's raging flames instantly cooled down, becoming as quiet as a kitten. Song Chantian turned to look at Long Fei and said, "Hug me tightly and fly you." Black Leopard was like a sports bike with over 10,000 horsepower. Its body leaned forward, and Song Chantian followed suit. Long Fei held on to Song Chantian's waist slightly. It was soft like it had no bones. Very thin. Song Chantian giggled and said, "You'd better hold on tighter." Finished. Song Chantian lightly patted Black Panther's neck. "Little Black, let's go." Roar. With a roar, the Black Panther fiercely charged forward. Its speed was like the roar of a monster as it instantly charged into the sky. Damn! His body suddenly hugged, tightly protecting Song Chantian. Because he had used too much strength, and it was too sudden, Long Fei's hands lost their direction, and he was also in the wrong place. So he directly hugged on his Song Chantian's chest. Huh, why is it a little bulky? It's still a little big. Where's this place? Long Fei's mind quickly spun. Both of his hands scratched and pinched. The feeling of his hands was exceptionally good, and at this time his eyes suddenly realized that he grabbed onto a place that he shouldn't have grabbed onto. Song Chantian's expression also darkened as he coldly asked, "Where did you catch them?" Long Fei immediately looked down and said, I'm sorry. He whispered, "Her breasts are so big." Song Chantian's expression became even colder and said, "Do you believe that I won't throw you down?" Long Fei immediately shut his mouth and did not say any more. If he said more, he would really be thrown down by Song Chantian. This which was like a little girl, crazily asking for her life. Just this valiant mount alone was enough to stun anyone. In another place, the heavenly hall of immortals, Supreme God looked into the distance and smiled. "You've gone out again?" 19 Ideas Simulacrum stood beside Supreme God and said lightly, "We just investigated clearly that the immortal city's master is Undying Ghost Dragon, and he was killed by Long Fei. And furthermore, one of the demon powerhouses was repelled in 3 moves. I reckon that the demons will make their move against Long Fei as well." He was the Supreme God spy in the God Emperor Academy, his goal being to control all of Long Fei's movements. The Supreme God let out a long breath and said, "Those giant demons of the breaking through the seal must also know that the secret treasures of the dragon race can only be found by the people of the Long family. However," Supreme God smiled confidently, "they still don't know enough." 19 said, "Supreme God, the Western demons are eyeing us covetously. The devil flames are getting stronger and stronger. As for the matters regarding the demon slayer," Supreme God said, "Don't worry too much about the matters regarding the demon slayer. You will definitely come out when it is time for you to come out. Right now, the time is not right, and the Pan family will definitely defend the title of Demon Slayer. They will do their best to deal with it. You don't need to do these things yourself. Your focus is always on controlling Long Fei's movements." 19 immediately said, "Disciple understands." Long Fei was the main point. If they could find a secret treasure of the Dragon Clan, what would those millions of years old devil be worth? Even if they didn't have a demon slayer, they would still be killed. Long Fei left with Song Chantian. The disciples of the logistics department were silently collecting information about the various battle teams, their personnel, cultivation level, cultivation techniques, and the powers supporting them, especially regarding the collection of information on the blood skeleton. Since Long Fei wanted to do something to help him, Sun Data did his best to help him. This was because he wanted to do something before graduation. Even if there was nothing he could do, he wanted to help Long Fei reach the top. Except for their efforts, God Emperor Academy also had another piece of heavyweight news. The two teams ranked 19th and 16th announced their cancellation. This had quite an impact on the God Emperor Academy. Only a fool would write off the names of the top 20 teams. At the same time, a team named Quang Long was formed. The team leader was Dao Feng, the vice captain was Han Shueji, and the three of them joined forces to quickly complete the mission. They had to raise the number of points on their team to 500 to qualify to enter the tournament. What Long Fei wanted to do was what they wanted to do. And then there was Long Fei. It took 2 whole days before the Black Panther slowed down and finally came to a stop on a mountain slope. Song Chantian said, "We're here." Long Fei immediately let go of his hands and felt a little awkward looking at Song Chantian. In his previous life, he had always dreamed of having a super motorcycle and then bringing his sister to go on a rampage. He had never realized it in his previous life, but in this foreign world, it was him who held his sister while leading his sister on a rampage. Too awkward. His dream had been shattered into pieces. Song Chantian said, "This is Dragon Head Mountain. The Dragon Head Chinquin map should be here." Just now, Long Fei took a look at the terrain with confidence. The terrain here was a little special, as if it had experienced the effects of an ancient war. Giant pits and deep holes were everywhere, and if not for the trees covering them, there would definitely be holes everywhere. Long Fei asked, "You already know this place. Why did you bring me here? If you can find this place, concealing it would allow you to solve this map, right?" Song Chantian laughed. "Finding this place isn't difficult. The important thing is to unravel the secret here. The Dragon Head Chinquin map is like a maze. If you want to unlock it, I'm afraid you're the only one in the world. You are a member of the Long family. The one flowing on you is a dragon spirit blood." Song Chantian looked at Long Fei seriously. The man in front of him looked ordinary and ordinary, without anything unusual about him. However, the feeling Long Fei gave her was extremely deep, unfathomable. The hidden potential was also unfathomable. Long Fei replied with a question, "What exactly are you looking for?" Song Chantian was unable to answer now, and she did not know what was inside the Dragon Head Chinquin map. However, after pausing for half a minute, Song Chantian looked into the distance with misty eyes. Chapter 751, Sky Tyrant Form, Infinite Strike. Chapter 751, Sky Tyrant Form, Infinite Strike. This Dragon Head Mountain is the unknown domain of the gods' martial continent. Very few people dabble in it. Therefore, you must be careful. Follow behind me. Don't get too far away, Song Chantian said as he walked in front. Long Fei replied, "Understood." This definitely was not Song Chantian's first time here. The reason she came to find him was because of something that she could not unravel, and she needed Long Fei to do it herself. Moreover, Long Fei also wanted to know, even more than Song Chantian wanted to know what exactly was hidden within the Dragon Head Chinquin map. Is it really the head of the Yuan Long? If he was a Yuan Long, then if he found his flesh and melted, would his power instantly become an existence that was so strong that it could explode the heavens? Buzz! Boom! Suddenly, a loud sound came from within the dark forest. Song Chantian immediately stopped and retracted his aura as he said slightly, "Stop for a moment." A few minutes passed. Song Chantian began to walk forward again and said, "You can go now." Long Fei asked with some doubt, "Was it the demon beast just now? Why didn't you kill him?" Song Chantian turned to look at Long Fei and said, "Level 8 demon beast had a divine ability attached to it. If the two of us were to go kill it, you would be killed instantly." He made it sound as though it was an understatement. However, Long Fei's heart was thundering and rolling. "Level 8 demon beast?" Yan Huang ancestors said lightly. "She is right. The aura just now was indeed the aura of a level 8 demon beast. Furthermore, there's a sacred art attached to it as well. Boy, this woman is stronger than I thought. A level 8 demon beast was extraordinary. The demon beastess that carried the sacred art were even more extraordinary. Each of them was an existence that seemed to be able to destroy the heavens and the earth. Long Fei secretly clicked his tongue, but he was also a bit excited in his heart and thought to himself, "This is a good place to level up. Not now, but in the future I will definitely be able to." Blood Dragon, I told you to remember the route. Did you? Blood Dragon Ancestor said excitedly. Don't worry, I have never been able to accomplish anything that boss asked me to do. I've already memorized the route. This was Long Fei's trump card. He didn't know where Song Chantian came from, nor could he trust him. He had to be careful. After walking for half an hour, Song Chantian stopped again. 10 minutes later, they were walking again. After walking like this for 3 whole days, bypassing over 100 super demon beasts, all of them being level 7 and above, Long Fei complained in his heart, "This is all just experience." Suddenly, Song Chantian stopped. Long Fei said, "We have to wait a bit more, right?" Song Chantian said, "In front of us is a gorge. We must pass through it. There are many demon beasts in the gorge. It is unavoidable. F***CK. We should have had a fight a long time ago." Long Fei was excited. If he did not level up to gain some experience, he would be at a disadvantage. Song Chantian said, "These fellows are not to be trifled with. Be careful." Long Fei replied, "Understood. You must remember this. If you can avoid them, you must not provoke them." Song Chantian reminded her once again. Long Fei replied, "Got it." But he thought to himself, "Not provoke. How could he kill any monsters to level up without provoking them? How can you know your cultivation level without provoking others?" Along the way, Long Fei wanted to see what realm Song Chantian was in. The only way to test her cultivation was the super demon beast. 10 minutes later, Long Fei and Song Chantian walked into the canyon. The canyon was burning with hot air, like it was a volcanic crater. On both sides, there were bare rocks, one after the other, but there were no demon beasts as mentioned by Song Chantian. Suddenly, bam! At the top of the canyon, an incomparably huge stone statue roared, sky tyrant form. Rumble! From a height of 100 meters, he charged straight down. Holy **T. The stone men were enlarged. Long Fei's expression changed greatly. He had once met a stone man and a demon beast in the great desolate mountain range, but compared to this guy, he was like an ant. More importantly, it started with enlargement stroke. Bam! A loud sound was heard. Its speed was too fast. Long Fei could not react at all, but he could not react in time. Song Chantian's reaction speed was like a god's, grabbing Long Fei by the collar and bouncing him off. Boom! The 10-meter-tall stone giant smashed into the ground, creating a deep crater. The surrounding area began to burn as well, and flames began to burn on the stone giant's body. The aura emitted from its body was incomparably intense. At the same time, Long Fei's heart sank as he looked at the stone giant through the system. Demon Beast, Overlord Stone Devil rank, 7 rating monster and beast damage, 7 stars speed, 7 stars attack power, 8 stars divine powers, Sky Tyrant strike, infinite attack. Looking at the last part, Demon Beast description, Long Fei was completely dumbfounded. Fuck, what do you mean by Sky Tyrant strike and unlimited attack? Not waiting for him to finish. Rumble, the Overlord Stone Devil crashed out again, not giving Long Fei and Song Chantian a chance to react at all. Song Chantian pulled Long Fei and bounced away once again. Infinite combo. This is an existence that's going to break through the heavens. Boom! Song Chantian grabbed Long Fei and wanted to pull him away again, but this time, Long Fei rushed forward and said, "If this continues, there's no way to escape." Finished. The moment the devil sword in Long Fei's hand fell, the moment the Overlord Stone Devil rushed down, his aura became heavy. Infinite sword. Gravity sword, 10 times gravity. The devil sword in Long Fei's hand moved, slashing down. Rumble. Long Fei's gravity sword intent was shattered. Long Fei was also instantly sent flying. That Sky Tyrant rock also shook slightly, becoming even more angry. Roar! The flame exploded around his body, and before he could stop for even half a second, he was sent flying once again. I'm done for. I'm not afraid of you. Long Fei was also burning with anger. He put away the devil's sword and switched with the dragon's salure, killing God Chop. A saber ruthlessly hacked down. He slashed at the head of the Overlord Stone Devil. Boom! Woo-woo! A bright red number appeared above the rock demon's head. It let out a painful scream. While you're sick, I'll take your life. Long Fei kept his dragon's salure S and hugged his fists. He had already cultivated Mountain Hit Fist to the great perfection stage. Break for me. The Overlord Stone Devil flew into a rage amidst the pain and smashed towards Long Fei. Boom! The power clashed together, and Long Fei was sent flying. The Overlord Stone Devil let out a painful cry again. Rub! Long Fei clenched his teeth and looked at the wound on the Overlord Stone Devil's head. Fuck again. Shadow Shift. Chua! Instantly landing in front of the rock demon. The dragon's salure slashed down again. Dark Dragon God Slash. Boom! Splitting Pulsar. Rumble. The blade came down, crushing the giant rock demon to the ground. Long Fei landed on the ground, his fist sending the tens of thousands of kilograms worth of stone demon flying, and his body flashed. Dragon Chop. 1,000 combo attacks. Song Chantian frowned and shouted loudly, "Don't kill it, don't kill it. Not kill. Impossible." Chapter 752, Infinite Sky Tyrant Strike. Chapter 752, Infinite Sky Tyrant Strike. How could he level up without killing them? How did it drop anything? If it didn't kill him, then what the heck was he? Being abused by the Overlord Stone Devil to such a state, if he did not kill it, would that be worthy of him? In any case, Long Fei would kill them all because he needed experience and masochism. He did not listen to Song Chantian's persuasion, nor did he hesitate at all as he crazily slashed down with 1,000 consecutive strikes from the Dragon Chop. Under the final slash, Long Fei shouted out in his heart, "Explode for me!" At this time, Song Chantian frantically rushed over, wanting to stop Long Fei from killing this rock demon. Seeing the rock demon fall to the ground, she cried out inwardly, "Crap!" The system beep rang. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 36,000 experience points when killing Overlord Stone Devil, 500 points for Power of Celestial, and 1 point for energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Overlord Stone Devil's ability Sky Tyrant Strike. Yes, sir. The big move of the Stone Man will definitely be learned. Long Fei said excitedly. This technique is really good at using existences that could destroy the heavens and earth. Although the Overlord Stone Devil was not a stone person in the game, but it was very strong, especially with its unlimited combo. It was too terrifying. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for training the Demon Beast ability Sky Tyrant Strike, for obtaining 100 experience, 100 Power of Celestial, and 100 points as a reward. Skill Path, Sky Tyrant Strike Consumption, 1,000 Power of Celestial S cooldown, 1 second damage. 5 stars description. This cultivation technique is Demon Beast Sacred Art, a ton of impact force. The heavier the body, the stronger the impact force. Weight versus strength? Wasn't it useless for that person to train in this skill? Long Fei did not care about the description of the skill, but looked at the cooldown in a daze. Isn't that just flying randomly in the sky? As for weight, Long Fei did not mind, because he had trained in Gravity Knife S, so he could release his own gravity, which was equivalent to tons and tons of weight. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Right after the Overlord Stone Devil was killed, the calm canyon suddenly became restless. The continuous sounds of explosions were like rolling thunder that continuously exploded. Next, as one Overlord Stone Devil after another jumped down from the rocks in the canyon, every one of them were incomparably fierce, staring at Long Fei as though they were going to eat him whole. All the demonic stones in the canyon had awoken. Song Chantian's face sank and said, This will be difficult. Long Fei's expression also darkened. You knew from the beginning that killing a demon beast would awaken all the demonic stones. Song Qianqian said, I just reminded you not to kill him. If you didn't listen, then I'm afraid we wouldn't be able to pass this valley. However, Song Qianqian had not finished speaking when he realized that Long Fei had already rushed out. Moreover, Long Fei's face was filled with excitement. He was not afraid at all, and Song Qianqian was stunned. Is this man crazy? The more excited the demon beast, the more excited it became. The stronger the boss, the more excited it became. Looking at the Overlord Stone Devil in the canyon, Long Fei's heart started to boil. How much experience is this? Is it enough for me to level up? What did you say? Song Qianqian didn't hear it clearly and walked behind Long Fei. Long Fei could not afford to let anything happen to him. At least nothing could happen to Long Fei before she undid the Dragon Head Chinquin map, so she had to ensure Long Fei's safety. Long Fei asked, is there only one way? Song Qianqian nodded his head and said, only this one. If I fly past it, I might get lost. I have tried it. Long Fei became even more excited and said, then let's kill. Song Qianqian looked at Long Fei and asked, are you sure? Long Fei took a step forward and said, definitely. Song Qianqian gave a shallow smile and said, then let's begin. Finished. Song Qianqian shouted, follow behind me. Hey, I told you to follow me. Song Qianqian shouted, but Long Fei had already rushed out. I truly submit to you. Rumble. Long Fei approached slightly, and before he could even react, the 5 Overlord Stone Devil-S had already charged out. Their bodies turned into a straight line, and they were as fast as lightning. Boom, boom, boom. A series of loud sounds rang out. Song Qianqian shouted loudly, be careful. Long Fei curled his lips. Your strength might not be as good as yours, but your brain's reaction speed. Hee, I'm a pro-level player. Sky Tyrant Strike. The instant before the 5-stone demon landed on the ground, Long Fei charged forward and instantly rammed into them. Boom! Damn, this is great. He was able to accurately dodge the attacks of the 5 stone men. Moreover, the feeling of dodging a skill was like playing a game. However, this was even more exciting. Song Qianqian was shocked. He looked at Long Fei and was shocked. He also returned to his stone demon ability. It was comprehended. This comprehension ability is too fast. I'll just copy it. The people of Long family are really different. As soon as he finished, Song Qianqian's aura suddenly exploded, the cold sword in his hand. His body leaned forward, and with every step he took, his figure seemed to transform into a myriad of forms, which was impossible to see clearly. Long Fei's cultivation could not see Song Qianqian's figure clearly. Patriarch. This was the first time Long Fei had seen Song Qianqian make a move. It was too fast. The Yin Huang ancestors said slightly, the Phantom Kill sword technique cultivation realm has reached the 9th level. Your cultivation is. The virtual immortals isn't right. The blood immortal isn't right. It's still rising. The golden immortal. Her aura is erratic and erratic. Suddenly, of virtual immortals. Suddenly a different realm. This little girl is incredible. I am afraid no one can stop her with just this. Long Fei asked, what about compared to Sky, separating clans Pansheng? The people of the Pan family all possessed Pan Gu bloodline S, and their talent was at the peak of the gods' martial continent, an existence that very few people could surpass. The Yin Huang ancestor said, it's not worth mentioning. That Pan clan kid's blood vein is indeed very strong, but compared to her, it's so weak that it explodes. Damn! Long Fei's heart trembled. He knew clearly that Song Qianqian was strong, but he never thought that he was strong to such an extent. He couldn't even defeat Pansheng now, so this Song Qianqian. At this moment, Song Qianqian's Phantom Kill sword skill continued to be used. The 5 demonic stones seemed to be stunned, as they stood still and did not move at all, as they could not find their target. They couldn't lock onto the target, so they didn't know how to hit it. Seeing that the rock demon's HP was running low, Long Fei shouted, I'm coming. The experience of the 5 demonic stones was over 100,000. They couldn't be lost just like that. Sky Tyrant form. Chua. Long Fei's body moved, and he shouted in his heart, 10 times gravity. Boom. An instant critical strike. He directly smashed the 5 demonic stones into pieces, and even more demonic stones rushed out from the canyon. Chapter 753. Infinite Fire. Chapter 753. Infinite Fire. Ding. Ding. 5 prompts sounded. Long Fei looked at Song Chanqian and said, I will be in charge of attracting monsters, and you will be in charge of killing monsters. Song Chanqian frowned. Long Fei had already rushed out, feeling refreshed in his heart. If I don't make good use of this kind of expert by my side, then I will really suffer a huge loss. Boom, boom. A large group of Overlord Stone Devil crashed out. Long Fei stood in place without moving. After calculating the distance properly, those rock demons would attack as soon as they entered the range of the Sky Tyrant attack. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, the 8 demonic stones struck Xiang Long Fei instantly. Moonlit Step. Long Fei's godlike reaction immediately flew outwards the moment they crashed into the ground. Bang, bang. 8 loud sounds clashed onto empty air, causing Long Fei, who was in mid-air, to grin. Now it's my turn. 10 times gravity. Sky Tyrant strike. From above, he ruthlessly slammed down. Rumble. The 8 giant stone demons were knocked flying, and at this moment, Long Fei yelled in his heart, Dragon Chop. 8,000 slashes. 8 Overlord Stone Devil. 1,000 slashes meant 8,000 slashes. The Dragon Salyer was wildly dancing, and the 8 giant demons in the air were constantly letting out painful screams. They could not resist at all. 12,221. 7,382. 11,123. Bright red damage continuously rose from the top of their heads. The 8,000 slashes came crashing down. Sure too had become a cripple. However, the moment they landed, Long Fei also landed, while the other demonic stones that had entered the range of the impact instantly rammed into them. Shadow Shift. Shua. Long Fei's speed became even faster as he swiftly dodged out of the way. He turned his head to strike out with a heavy blow. If you will crash, then Lousy will crash even more. Sky Tyrant strike. Rumble. The 1-second cooldown was just too fast. It was as if the cooldown of a skill had been shortened by 100 times. It was even better than Infinite Fire. As long as your hand speed was fast enough, the skill would not stop. Boom. Boom. The demon beast that rushed out from the valley had already blocked the valley's entrance, so the stone demon behind them could not come out at all. This also lessened the pressure on Long Fei. Because the rock devils were in one direction, there was no need to worry about attacks coming from other directions. Song Chanqian saw a large wave of rock demons collide forward, and then Long Fei took a step back, cleverly avoiding the impact. You hit me, I'll hit you. It was just that. It was very difficult for the rock demons to hit Long Fei, but Long Fei managed to hit them time and time again. This reaction was too swift. Of course, in his past life, pro players weren't made up for nothing. If they didn't even have this sort of reaction, how could they still be considered pro players? Just a little. Long Fei's weight was still not enough. He was unable to inflict more damage. Furthermore, the main effect of this skill was on control. Once you hit, you're sent flying. There's nothing you can do in midair. Long Fei struck again. Dragon Chop, 10,000 slashes. 18 stone demon were knocked away by Long Fei, and after the cooldown time of the Dragon Chop ended, Long Fei was immediately released. The heck? The combination of the Stone Man and the Aso. I'm about to fall in love with myself. I'm too handsome. Long Fei was excited. The 18,000 slashes crazily fell on him, as if death was dancing wildly. Boom! Long Fei landed on the ground, and his body once again explosively retreated. At this moment, ding! The power of Celestial is not enough. Please supplement. The power of Celestial is not enough. Please supplement. The system sounded out. The Fairy Stone Root quickly released the power of Celestial, And with just the power of celestial of the fairy stone root, it was not enough. Long Fei quickly retreated and said to Song Qianqian, "Don't watch the show. It's your turn now." Song Qianqian took a glance at Long Fei and thought to himself, "Is this your limit? That's not right. It should be the limit of your power of celestial." For a first-stage Berserker Immortal to be able to persevere for so long, the power of celestial in your body is 3 times that of a normal first-stage Wild Immortal. The people from Long family are truly abnormal. Song Qianqian quickly made his move. Her cultivation continued to change non-stop as she released the Fantasy Killer Sword technique crazily, killing 18 Overlord Stone Devil in a short 10 seconds. While she was killing him, ding, ding, 18 notifications continuously rang out in Long Fei's brain. The value of his power of celestial had also recovered a little, and after he saw his experience points increase crazily, he said, "This feeling is too good. However, this feeling is a bit too slow." Long Fei muttered to himself and said to Song Qianqian, "Can you be a little faster?" Song Qianqian looked at Long Fei and asked, "How are you going to go crazy?" Long Fei said, "I still have a big move. Can you keep up?" Song Qianqian was startled. She was initially worried that Long Fei would be destroyed by the rock demon, but looking at his fighting techniques, she was no longer worried. It was as her master had said, do not underestimate anyone from the Long family. Even if he was only a martial artist in the immortal realm, he couldn't be underestimated because the people in the Long family were all abnormal. Now, she finally understood why her master would say that. Song Qianqian said, "Today, I'll accompany you until you're mad enough." Haha. Long Fei smiled excitedly and said, "Then follow my footsteps now. Remember, you can't be more than a meter away from me. This time I will fly you." As soon as he finished, Long Fei roared in his heart, "Rank 5, unparalleled." Buzz, 32 times the usual strength, came out master, causing his strength to increase by multiple times. In an instant, Long Fei jumped into the air and changed his posture. Moonlit step. He landed in the air above the most concentrated group of demon beasts. Song Qianqian was startled. "Isn't that too crazy?" She kept up with him. Long Fei roared out, "Sky Tyrant Strike." His body exploded and heavily crashed into the ground. Rumble. After knocking out an empty area in the most densely packed area of demon beast, Long Fei excitedly said, "Fei-er, it's your turn." Buzz. Fei-er rushed out from within the Thunder Pearl. Holding her magic staff, she chanted towards the sky, "Power of thunder, listen to my command." Bang! The lightning field rumbled and lightning raged. And at the instant the lightning descended, Song Qianqian landed behind Long Fei. Long Fei looked at her, smiled slightly, and said, "Hug me tightly. This time I'll fly you." Song Qianqian's cheeks flushed slightly. Looking at the lightning field that covered the sky, she did not put it in her eyes at all. She could dodge it, and the lightning might not even harm her. However, at this moment, she still walked over, hugged Long Fei's waist, closed her eyes, and lightly leaned on Long Fei's back. Just like a couple, Long Fei roared, "Fei-er, go in and release it. Burn it." Fei-er cried out in excitement. "Understood, master." 10,000 thunderbolts fury. Boom. Chapter 754, 15 seconds, 2 levels. Chapter 754, 15 seconds, 2 levels. 10,000 lightning bolts were unleashed simultaneously. There was less thunder. Fei-er's strength had increased by a lot compared to last time, and those rock devils in the narrow valley were struck down before they could even react. The bright red damage continued to float. However, these rock devils had very high HP. Fei-er's skill was AoE, but her damage was still lacking. She hadn't killed the rock devils yet. It was also at this time. Long Fei lightly patted Song Qianqian's hands and said, "Sister, it's your turn to perform." Song Qianqian leaned on Long Fei's shoulder. Her heart was indescribably calm. She had never been so calm before, and this feeling was very special. She had never experienced it before. She almost fell asleep. Hearing that, Long Fei's voice had returned to normal. Their eyes became cold as they looked at the surrounding Overlord Stone Devil. They all stared at Long Fei like tigers stalking their prey. Feier stuck out her tongue and said, "Master, I'll leave first." He drilled into the Thunder Pearl. Hoo 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 hoo. Hoo 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 hoo. The breaths of the rock demons looked like they were about to spew fire, staring at Long Fei with eyes full of killing intent. Then, in the blink of an eye, over 100 sky tyrant rock devils crazily rammed into him, completely giving up their lives. They were all furious. Boom, boom, boom. It was too fast, to the point that Long Fei was caught off guard, and his brain was unable to react in time. But it was also at this moment that Long Fei's heart trembled. What a powerful sword intent. Yin Huang Ancestor was also shocked. Illusion Slaughter's strongest sword intent, illusory realm kill. What is the background of this girl? Just what kind of ancient blood vein is flowing in her body? Yin Huang Ancestor muttered. Even he could not see through Song Qianqian. Every move had a different power. However, there was one thing Patriarch could be certain of, and that was that Song Qianqian had definitely merged with some kind of ancient powerful blood vein. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to unleash such a powerful force. Yin Huang Ancestor thought to himself, "It's time to help this guy find the blood vein." The Pangu bloodline S of Sky, Separating Clan, and other superfamilies all have fusion blood vein, and they are all at the peak of God's martial continent. This kid is a bit out of sync. Blood vein could be said to be a gift. Blood vein was the source of unlimited potential. The blood vein flowing in your body can allow you to quickly improve and release endless amounts of power. Its power is even more powerful than the power of a mortal foundation. Blood veins were extremely important to any warrior. It was just that an ordinary warrior would not have any blood vein in their body, unless it was the kind of ancestor that was an extremely powerful being or the inheritance of some ancient beast race. Otherwise, the blood veins' power wouldn't exist in their body. It was just an ordinary warrior. The dragon spirit blood S in Long Fei's body were peeled off, and he did not have the strength of a blood vein in his body. The former Titan blood vein, Underworld King blood vein, the Undying blood vein were all absorbed by the dragon Salyer. These blood vein were slightly worse than the Pan family's Pangu bloodline. They had to be fused with the best and the most powerful blood vein. At least, blood vein at the peak of God's martial continent. A blood vein that could crush everything. Yin Huang Ancestor made up his mind. It's about time. At this moment, Song Qianqian took a step forward and stood in front of Long Fei. The black dress on her body fluttered as she stepped on the black lotus. With each step, a flower and an illusion appeared. The cold sword in his hand moved slightly. The aura on her body immediately exploded outwards, and a black ripple spread outwards, covering hundreds of surrounding Overlord Stone Devil. Then, the rock devils that were rushing out fell to the ground in a flash, as if they had crashed into a plane. At the same time, Song Qianqian frowned. Illusory Realm Destroyer. Thousand Shadow Transformation. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, her figure transformed into 1,000 different figures that filled the sky. They traveled through the void, as if entering another space and time. Long Fei could only feel the incomparably strong sword intent, but he was unable to feel the feelings of those stone giant demons. They had all entered into an illusionary world released by Song Qianqian. He couldn't extricate himself, and Song Qianqian's 1,000 figures had entered these illusions to instantly kill all of them. Boom! With a loud noise, all of the surrounding Overlord Stone Devil burst apart, turning into powder and killing all of the stone demons in the surroundings with a single sword strike. Powerful, unparalleled power. Long Fei was stunned. The strong will explode. It was also at this time that the system beep in Long Fei's mind also began to crackle nonstop like firecrackers. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 36,000 experience points when killing Overlord Stone Devil, 500 points for power of Celestial, and 1 point for energy values. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 36,000 experience points when killing Overlord Stone Devil, 500 points for Power of Celestial, and 1 point for energy values. Ding! A crazed sound rang out. 2 seconds later. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Wild Immortal 2nd stage. 10 seconds later. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 3rd level of the Wild Immortal stage. In less than 15 seconds, he had risen 2 levels in succession. Waka, why don't I go up, haha? Long Fei laughed excitedly and said to Yin Huang Ancestor in his heart, Ancestor, what is the probability of me winning against this girl? Yin Huang Ancestor replied without thinking, the probability of 0. F***CK. Can you give me some face? At least you've been in my body for so many years. Long Fei's heart sank. Yin Huang Ancestor said, saying 0 is already enough to give you face. With your current cultivation, you don't even have the qualifications to fight against her, so I suggest that you give up on this idea. Long Fei muttered, what if we add in the giant demons? 10%, the Yin Huang Ancestor explained. You can disregard it. The Gravity Troll seal has not been completely unlocked, and it will be difficult for him to be this girl's opponent. Holy **T. Is she this strong? She's only 16 or 17 years old. Long Fei secretly scared, as he still had a trace of luck in his heart, because there must be something happening within the dragon head Chinquin map. If it really was the head of the Yuan Long, could Song Chanqian steal it from him? This was the head of the Azure Dragon, Blood Dragon, and Black Dragon's bosses. Can make it. He couldn't let the fight end like this. But now that he had 110%, Long Fei immediately gave up and thought, it seems like he won't win. Where does the soft one come from? Persuade her. Persuade her with my love. Long Fei started to feel vulgar in his heart. With such a super valiant beauty by my side, there's no way I can stop her. Who? Long Fei thought. Let's see what's hidden in the Dragon Head Chinquin map first, then we can plan. Chapter 755, Azure Dragon Loosemouth. Chapter 755, Azure Dragon Loosemouth. It was unknown if Song Chanqian was in a berserk state or what, but after using Illusory Realm Kill, it was as if she had eaten a dazzling spring and simply could not stop. Long Fei was afraid that he would miss out on the experience. Hence, he kept trying to cause as much damage as possible. This way, he would be able to gain experience. 2 hours passed. Huff! Long Fei was paralyzed as he sat on the ground, gasping for air, and said, I've finally cleaned it all up. Song Chanqian stood at the side and said lightly, This is just the beginning. There are many other places like this on the way to the Heaven and Earth Secret Realm. Also, the most dangerous place isn't Dragon Head Mountain, but the Universe Mystic Realm. So, Song Chanqian looked at Long Fei seriously and said, You must listen to my commands after this, or else I won't be your spear anymore. There was a hint of coldness in his voice. This coldness started when she used her illusionary killing technique. Long Fei looked at Song Chanqian and said, What spear use do you have? Song Chanqian said, You should be clear in your heart. Even if your talent is exceptional, it is impossible for you to continuously break through within the short span of half a minute. Although I'm not clear on how you broke through, but I'm sure it is related to killing these stone demons. He could see through it with one look. She was the first. It had to be said that Song Chanqian was extremely intelligent. Long Fei's gaze turned cold. His discovery of his secret had made him a little unhappy. No matter who it was, he could not become the existence of the system, or else his consequences would be disastrous. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, What I condensed in the purple bamboo forest was the killing thought. You should know that, right? My path is the path of death. Naturally, I will break through with killing. The more I kill, the more I will understand the true essence of killing. Naturally, I will be able to break through with ease. Long Fei's perfect explanation. Song Chanqian looked at Long Fei. She wanted to see through him. However, just like how Long Fei could not see through her, she could not see through Long Fei either. After pausing for half a minute, Song Qianqian said slightly, "In the history of the Dark Domain, there are many experts who have cultivated the way of killing, but not a single person has succeeded. The path of death is a path of no return, and the further one goes, the harder it becomes. In the end, you won't be able to control the slaughter, and your entire body will go berserk, controlled by the killing intent." She had looked through a lot of information. In the entire Dark Domain, and even in the entire God's Martial Continent, no one had ever succeeded. Long Fei asked, "Are you concerned about me?" Song Qianqian's eyes turned cold and said, "I just want to see how you were controlled by the killing intent and how you died." "Isn't that too cruel?" Long Fei laughed. Song Qianqian said, "Have you rested enough? Let's go." Dark Domain, Xinji City. Go back and tell Lord Devil Ancestor that we are increasing our speed. We will definitely find the Dragon Clan's secret treasure before the Heavenly Hall of Immortals. Song Qianqing was filled with confidence. The demon expert said, "I'll have to trouble the Thousand City Lord. Don't worry, the Devil Ancestor will definitely accomplish what he promised you." Even if he was a demon expert, he wouldn't dare to be disrespectful to Song Qianqing as the envoy beside the Devil Ancestor, because he was Dark Domain's strongest warrior. He was also the absolute ruler of the Dark Domain. In front of Song Qianqing, his strength was not even enough. Song Qianqiang smiled faintly and said, "I thank you." The demon powerhouse hugged his hands, turned around, and left, turning into a streak of light before disappearing into the horizon. It was also at this time Song Qianqiang frowned and asked coldly, "How is Miss?" The shadow moved. An old man came out from the shadows and said, "Miss has already brought that kid Long family to the Dragon Head Mountain. I think in a few days there will be an appearance of a Dragon Head Qinquin map." "How many days more?" Song Qianqing was slightly unhappy. He then asked, "How are things with the Tong Tian Hall of Immortals? Other than the Pan Clan Demon Slayer, are there any more Demon Slayer?" The old man replied, "There is currently no second Demon Slayer, but in a few months it will be the God Emperor Academy's competition. There will be news from the Heavenly Hall of Immortals S. The disciples that stand out in this competition will be brought over to the Outer Space Palace for cultivation." Song Qianqiang slightly narrowed his eyes. It seems that the supreme god from Tong Tian Hall of Immortals can no longer sit still. Compared to the appearance of the Demon Slayer, I should go and cultivate my own Demon Slayer. Immortal Domain and Western Devil Lord definitely have a huge battle. Just that. Song Qianqing's eyes flashed with a sharp light, and he said faintly, "The center of this spiral is actually Long family's brat. Long family, dragon territory, dragon race. Whether it's the Immortal Domain or the Western Devil Lord, they are both waiting for the appearance of the Dragon Clan's secret treasure." Song Qianqiang slightly said, "That is the best opportunity my Dark Domain will have." As soon as he finished, Song Qianqiang said, "Send a sound transmission to Xiaojia. Ask her to speed up the process. We must definitely make that brat from Long family move, and let this whirlpool speed up. Remind her that if she doesn't complete her mission on time, then she won't be able to see her mother again." The elders said, "As you command." All of these happened just as Song Qianqian was using the illusionary killing technique, causing a sound transmission to be transmitted to her mind. From that moment on, she became ice cold. At this moment, in Song Qianqian's heart, there were only missions. 2 days of rapid travel. Just as she had said, there were many strong demon beasts along the way, but they were all cleverly dodged by Song Qianqian. Not a single one had been killed. Long Fei felt bitter in his heart. My experience, my power of celestial, my soul treasure. Long Fei forced it out, then said to the Blood Dragon, "Remember this place. Next time I must come back." Blood Dragon Ancestor said, "Boss, don't worry. I will remember everything clearly according to your instructions." At dusk, Song Qianqian stopped and said, "We will rest here tonight." "Here." Long Fei was startled because they were at the edge of a huge crater. Inside the crater was also a dense forest, and he could not see how deep they were. Song Qianqian did not explain and directly leaped onto a large tree. Leaning on the tree trunk with both eyes shut, he started to rest. Along the way, Song Qianqian was cold and silent. Even if it was to remind him to follow closely. There was no longer that mischievous smile from before. Long Fei muttered, "What happened?" "Forget it. Fill up your stomach first." Long Fei took out a leg of demon beast and began to roast it. Originally, she wanted to tempt Song Qianqian, but she was completely indifferent to it. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, a dragon head Chinquin map appeared in Long Fei's mind. What is it? Inside Long Fei's body, the few dragons began to discuss once more. Ghost Dragon asked, "Big Brother Azure Dragon, do you want to tell Boss about this?" The Golden Dragon also said, "The Heaven and Earth secret realm is too dangerous. Let's talk about it first." Blood Dragon Ancestor said, "Big Brother Azure Dragon, say something. It's not like you don't know about the secret realm. It's too dangerous inside." The Azure Dragon Ancestor pondered for a moment and said, "All right." Chapter 756, Universe Mystic Realm, Memory Awakening. Chapter 756, Universe Mystic Realm, Memory Awakening. The Azure Dragon had let go. It was the first time. He had always insisted on carrying out the things that the Yuan Long had told him. Even though Long Fei had encountered some difficulties and he did not want to help, it was different this time. With Long Fei's current cultivation, entering the Heaven and Earth secret realm was no different from courting death. Even if he had Song Qianqian to protect him, it would be useless. Moreover, Song Qianqian was someone of the dark domain. In this moment of life and death, would she still protect Long Fei? Wulong discussed for a moment. And then, the Azure Dragon Ancestor's voice sounded out in Long Fei's mind. "Boss, the sun is rising tomorrow. The first ray of sunlight is shining into the deep pit. So where is the entrance to the secret realm? I believe that the young lady of dark domain already knows about it. After entering the secret realm, you must listen to me. You cannot take even half a step wrong, or else the consequences will be unimaginable." Long Fei's eyes shook and said slightly, "Azure Dragon, this doesn't seem to be your style." The reason why he suddenly wanted to help Long Fei at this time was not because he had a plan, but because the Heaven Realm was too dangerous. The Azure Dragon Ancestor slightly said, "Dragon Head Chinquin Map, this is the place where you fell. Your dragon's head is hidden inside the universe secret realm. This was where the most powerful battle of the tribulation had taken place. He had lost. He had fallen as well. With the dragon head being chopped off, the seal was in the secret realm. And this seal was something he had prepared beforehand. Before the great battle had erupted, he had already known the outcome of that calamity. He would lose, and the dragon race would lose. He had even chosen his own grave. Other than that, there were incomparably powerful living creatures guarding the universe mystic realm. They were slaves that had signed a contract with the dragon race, and they had guarded the tombs of Yuan Long for tens of millions of years. They would never let anyone near the main tomb. Anyone who got close to him would be killed without mercy, because these were arranged by the Yuan Long and were given to them by them. The Azure Dragon Ancestor and the others would know clearly. Naturally, they would also know how savage the contracted slaves were. Long Fei's heart trembled and thought to himself, as expected, the head of the Yuan Long Dragon Head Mountain, is the head of the Yuan Long buried here? Long Fei moved and asked, "Then do you mean that I have other bodies buried somewhere else?" The Azure Dragon Ancestor said, "Your head is buried at Dragon Head Mountain. Your body is silent in the sky sea. Your dragon claw seal is at the peak of the snow-capped mountain. Your tail is buried in the core of the earth. Before the open dragon domain, you must find your own body, otherwise you won't be able to open it." The Azure Dragon Ancestor lightly said, "Only a true Yuan Long could enter the open dragon domain. Only then would they be able to awaken the dragon race that had been in slumber for hundreds of years." The roar of a Yuan Long. Long Fei said, "Dragon Head Mountain, sky sea, the peak of the snow-capped mountain, deep in the earth. It seems like I can still deal with it. The Azure Dragon ancestors said, "This is to guard against outsiders. Once your physical body is damaged, your strength will be greatly weakened." Long Fei said, "I got it. Besides the dragon head, is there anything else in the universe's secret realm?" The Azure Dragon ancestor replied, "I only know that there is a dragon head. As for other things, you did not tell me before, but after you died, your weapon also disappeared. As for whether or not it was in the secret realm, that's not clear." "Weapon?" Long Fei became excited and asked, "What weapon?" The Azure Dragon ancestor said, "Dragon spear, sky-burning dragon gun." Ruh! Just by hearing the name, he is already very domineering. Long Fei became excited and said, "Azure Dragon, in the future, if you have nothing else to say, tell me more about the past. Also, what is this tribulation you're talking about? The Dragon Clan should have been the hegemons of the gods' martial continent back then. But how did they get crushed like this? Even their captains fell. Aren't they too miserable?" Long Fei asked in confusion. The Azure Dragon's expression darkened. "Wait for your open dragon domain to know about the tribulation. Once you know about the secret history of the dragon race, you will be clear about it. Now that you're like this, can you still play?" Long Fei was annoyed. He still wanted to ask about the relationship between the Long family and the dragon race. It seemed like he wouldn't be able to get the answer out. Long Fei was too lazy to touch that bad luck, and said, "All right, you can go now. I'll follow your route in the morning tomorrow." The aura of the Azure Dragon ancestor disappeared, and he returned to the green dragon tripod. Long Fei thought, sky-burning dragon gun, could it be in a universe mystic realm? So excited, this gun should be a powerful existence, right? Thinking about it, Long Fei also slowly fell asleep. With Song Qianqian here, he did not need to worry about oversleeping. Moreover, he needed to rest and get his body into a good state. The night passed in silence. Early morning, the first rays of sunlight shone through the gaps between the leaves. Song Qianqian's eyes opened wide, and like an alarm clock, she woke up. She jumped down from the tree branch and stood beside Long Fei. Long Fei had a vulgar expression, with saliva on the corner of his mouth. His expression was as vulgar as it could be. It was like he was in a dream, taking off the clothes of a peerless beauty. Song Qianqian stood at the edge of the hole, watching the sunlight slowly shine down, and the moment the sunlight shone into the hole, she suddenly shouted out, "Let's go." The voice carried the penetrating power of the idea. Instantly entering Long Fei's mind, his mind exploded, causing a demon to appear within his beautiful dream, which immediately woke him up from his shock. "Holy **T. Long Fei cursed. "I was just about to succeed. Can you let me finish this dream?" Song Qianqian walked to his side and directly jumped down after picking up his collar without giving Long Fei any time to clear his head. Very overbearing. It was even more domineering than a domineering CEO. High up in the sky, Song Qianqian said, "The secret realm of the universe is extremely dangerous. You have to listen to my commands, otherwise I won't be able to protect you." Long Fei grinned and thought in his heart, "You should listen to me." Boom! The two of them landed on the ground. Song Qianqian looked at the place where the sunlight was shining, and then a strand of energy burst forth from her body and revolved around her palm. The power of the seal. Open. Bam! He struck a rock with his palm. Next, dense runes appeared on the surface of the rock. The runes spread out like a group of tadpoles, covering the entire pit in the blink of an eye. The runes in front of him were even more profound than the runes on the old devil's gravity chains, and the power was even more vigorous. Dragon Clan. Just how strong are you? Long Fei was shocked. Song Qianqian retracted his palm and said, "Go in." After saying that, she pulled Long Fei and walked in. The rock seemed to have turned into mercury, swallowing up the moment it entered. Boom! After a few seconds, his vision suddenly exploded, and Long Fei felt as if he had entered a different world where the corpses inside formed mountains and the color of blood filled the sky. Moreover, countless steps ascended from the sky to the shrine above. If one were to look down at it, they would discover that this was a massive yin-yang 8 trigram diagram. This is the heaven and earth secret realm. the place where the dragon's head is buried. A terrifying aura assaulted his face, and Long Fei's entire being seemed to be possessed. His head hurt so much that it felt like it was about to split open as one powerful memory fragment after another awakened in his mind. Chapter 757, Let Me Do It. Chapter 757, Let Me Do It. The moment he stepped into the universe's secret realm, Long Fei's mind was in a mess. Various noises resounded in his mind. Over God race, are you not giving me any chance to live? We've already fled to such a low plane. Why are you chasing after us? 3,330,000 years of tribulations. Are you going to chase and kill them endlessly? Why? Why? Exactly why is this happening? Dragons, 10,000 dragons, listen to my command and kill. Bloody lights covered the sky as heavenly deities descended. They were practically crushing the dragon race with crushing force. The scene was extremely terrifying and terrifying. How powerful were the dragons? However, the dragon race seemed as weak as ants in front of the hierarch, whose bodies were suffused with a golden light and had the power of divinity. Other than a few dragon ancestors that could resist for a while, the other experts of the dragon race were crushed into powder. He wasn't a match at all. The memory fragments continued to jump. Who? Do you really think that your high god race can exterminate all of us dragons? Impossible. We, the Jedi, will not admit defeat. Just you wait. There will be a day when we will return to the divinity. We will definitely let the blood of the divinity flow like a river, and the sun and moon won't shine. Just you wait, huh? Rumble. A loud sound was heard from the memory shard. One of the overgods flashed with golden light and released 10,000 streams of divine power, crushing an incomparably gigantic dragon god on the ground. He looked at the colossal dragon with disdain and said, "If one time is not enough, then we will do it twice. If 2 times is not enough, then we will do it 3 times. This is your 2nd time. There will be a 3rd time, a 4th time, a 5th time, and a 3rd time every 3 million years." Wahaha! That supreme deity was extremely arrogant. As soon as the divine light exploded from his body, millions of divine powers were released and directly beheaded that huge dragon. The colossal dragon roared, "Then wait." Rumble! The memory shards suddenly exploded, causing Long Fei's body to tremble as he was forced to retreat. His face turned pale. It was as if the overgod was not killing a colossal dragon, but him instead. At that moment, even his mind was churning and feeling incomparable discomfort. It felt like he had died once. Song Qianqian saw Long Fei's pale face and immediately asked, "What's wrong with you?" Who. Long Fei gasped for breath, gently shook his head. "I'm fine." Cold sweat trickled down his back and palms. Although the description in the memory fragment wasn't much, it was still extremely shocking to Long Fei. Raising both his eyes slightly, he thought to himself, "I don't care about some dragon race's calamity. What 33,000 years, as long as they dare to provoke me and dare to provoke my Long family, I will definitely overturn their 18 generations of ancestors." Long Fei said ruthlessly in his heart. At the same time, his heart was also extremely excited because every member of the overgod race was emitting a golden light, just like the envoy from the underworld. A godlike existence. What could the god-slaying fist possibly drop? How much experience could he gain? I'm so King looking forward to it. Song Qianqian looked at Long Fei and asked no further. Her current goal was to complete the mission, and then said, "Follow me." Not waiting for her to finish, Long Fei followed the Azure Dragon ancestors' instructions and walked out, then said to Song Qianqian, who was behind him, "You should be clear about my identity. You also said that I was the only one who could comprehend this place. So if you want to decipher the map, then follow me." He could have gone his own way, because this universe mystic realm is the tomb of a Yuan Long. No matter how smart Song Qianqian was, it was impossible for her to take even a single wrong step. This was the secret of the dragon race. Song Qianqian silently said in his heart as he looked at Long Fei. Master was indeed right. And then she quickly followed him. On the left, Long Fei stepped forward. The Azure Dragon ancestor said, "Walk 3 steps forward, then jump 2 steps." Long Fei did so again. Song Qianqian followed closely behind Long Fei, and she would do whatever Long Fei did. Half an hour later, Long Fei came to the yin side of the yin-yang 8 trigrams and stood at the edge of the 2 people's huge black eyes. The yin chi in the huge eyes was like a sea, faintly emitting out. The Azure Dragon ancestors said, "This yin eye requires the blood of a virgin to be released. In addition, once the blood of a virgin is released, a contracted slave to protect the tomb will appear. I don't know if he's a human, a demon, or a god, but you should be extra careful." Long Fei looked at Song Qianqian and said, "You should be a virgin, right?" Song Qianqian's expression did not change and coldly replied, "Yes." Usually, when a girl was asked a question, she would be either angry or fiercely stared at him. She definitely wouldn't be able to answer that question so straightforwardly. Furthermore, the more pretentious a woman was, the more she was not a virgin. Song Qianqian's answer made Long Fei secretly tremble, and he thought to himself, "What exactly is she hiding in her heart?" Long Fei said, "Drop a drop of your blood essence into the giant eye, and then slowly retreat." Song Qianqian moved his finger, and a drop of blood essence fell into the giant eye. Next, Wong, with a loud bang, the yin chi in the huge eye began to revolve, and a huge swirl penetrated into the dark abyss. Then, an incomparably powerful energy rushed up. Boom! A female giant demon rushed out of the vortex. The armor-clad giant demon's body's fiendish demonic energy could send a person flying. It was incredibly thick. Her cultivation was even more unfathomable. Even Song Qianqian trembled slightly as he became cautious. Yan Huang ancestor warned and said, "Be careful, she's very strong." Long Fei also warned Song Qianqian, "Be careful, she's very strong." The female giant demon stared coldly at Song Qianqian, then looked at Xiang Long Fei. Her nose twitched, as if she was looking for something, but in that instant, she became furious. "Those who trespass into the Dragon Head graveyard will die." Boom! The yin chi was like a sea, forming a powerful shockwave and rushing towards Yichun. Song Qianqian pulled Long Fei behind him and said, "Hide behind me." The sword in her hand moved. The illusions on the sword overlapped each other, and as if there were 10,000 sword moves, they quickly condensed into sword flowers, shattering the baleful yin force. However, compared to Yin Mo, her cultivation was much lower. Even if her sword moves were too powerful, they still wouldn't be able to shatter all the pressure. Song Qianqian was forced to continuously retreat. He couldn't block it. An ant-like human dares to trespass into the Dragon Head graveyard? You're courting death. Yin Mo let out a cold snort, and his aura became even more powerful. Hoochie! Song Qianqian's face paled as he spat out a mouthful of blood. His body sank slightly as well. Long Fei took a step forward and said, "Let me do it." Table of Contents. Table of Contents. As soon as his voice faded, Long Fei took a step forward. Song Qianqian said, "You are not his opponent. Hide behind me." If even she could not withstand it, how could Long Fei, a third-stage Berserker immortal, withstand it? She then pulled Long Fei behind her and tightened the space between her eyebrows as she shouted sinisterly, "I don't believe it!" Buzz! Her aura also exploded. At this moment, Long Fei glared at him furiously. A fairy shadow suddenly floated up from Song Qianqian's body. The 9 fairy shadow floated up. The long sword in his hand transformed into 1,000,000 sword flowers, and the 10,000,000 sword intents also crushed down. A female blood vein of the 9th heaven. Peak blood vein of the primordial era. The Yin Huang ancestor quickly said, "I already said that this girl is not simple. I never thought that she would actually be the descendant of the 9 heavens profound maiden. It is too inconceivable. The god's martial continent actually has descendants of the god race. Long Fei was also stunned. A female blood vein of the ninth heaven? A god race descendant? Damn, isn't this too eye-catching? The face of the Mo also changed, and there was some astonishment in his eyes, but it only lasted for a moment before he laughed in disdain. Profound sky, female blood vein? What a pity! You can't even use 1/1000th of a nine heavens mysterious girl strength. Otherwise, I really wouldn't be your match. Now, leave your blood vein to me. Let me break through the shackles of this heaven and earth secret realm. Mo let out a mournful cry. He withdrew his aura, clenched his right hand, and shot out a rhombus-shaped sword made of Chi. Absolute sword art. Sha. As the sword moved, the Chi in the huge eye roared out in a steady stream. The nine heavens demoness illusory image blocked the attack. Boom! The two swords crossed, and the sword intent rampaged outwards, causing the entire universe mystic realm to tremble. Buzz! Rumble! With just a thought, over 100 moves appeared. Long Fei was dazzled. He could not even see clearly. However, he could tell that the nine heavens profound woman was in a disadvantaged position because Song Qianqian's expression was turning uglier and uglier. She was almost unable to hold on any longer. She couldn't do it anymore. Her body was trembling, her face as pale as a sheet of paper. Azure Dragon, what should I do? Long Fei was very anxious. He should do something. He must do something, but to fight against Mo, he was simply not qualified. The Azure Dragon ancestor said, "The eye has already been opened, and the devils have appeared. Right now, you only need to shatter the eye to cut off the source of the devil's power. Otherwise, even if an immortal peak realm comes, he will not be a match for the devils. Shatter the eye." Long Fei's heart was moved. As soon as the dragon's salure fell, it roared in his heart. Level 5, unparalleled, open. The air was burning. Long Fei took a step forward. His hands tightly gripped the dragon's salure and roared. Dark Dragon God Slash. Roar. Black Dragon Ancestor roared. His sinister shadow rushed out and formed a cold blade Chi that chopped down. Rumble. The eye started to crack, and the Tai Chi plane started to crack. The floating steps dropped down one after another, as if they had lost some kind of support. Mo glared. He stared straight at Long Fei and bellowed. "Kid, who exactly are you?" How did he know about the secret that only a few members of the Dragon Clan had found? Long Fei didn't even bother about him and slashed again. Gravity knife, 10 times gravity, break for me. Don't even think about it. Mo's face changed drastically, his figure attacking in the blink of an eye. The powerful fiend power rushed towards Xiang Longfei. He bellowed, "Die." The phantom of the nine heavens demoness also instantly moved. Song Qianqian said weakly, "You only care about the explosions, leave the rest to me." Long Fei did not care about the demons from start. The gravity knife slashed down. The cracks on the eye became larger and larger, as a large amount of Chi started to uncontrollably spread out, and the demon's aura also started to become chaotic. "Kid, I'm going to kill you." Mo was furious. If she lost the power in her eye, then she would be nothing and the power in her body would quickly dry up. At that moment, the power of the contract would disappear from her body. Although she was a slave of the dragon race and couldn't accept it, she was more afraid of death. Rumble. The sword was like a raging sea. Mo released his strongest power and broke through Xiang Longfei. Longfei looked at the eye that was cracking up and bellowed in his heart. "Again! Killing God Chop! Break for me!" Boom! With his strength exploding, Long Fei's entire body's power surged into the dragon's salure. The power of the god of slaughter burst forth, and the blade slashed down. No, no, no. Mo roared out in anger. Her power was being restricted by the nine heavens demoness. She couldn't kill Long Fei right now. Slash down. Mo shouted crazily. Rumble. The eye shattered. All of the energy in the eye collapsed, and was instantly devoured without a trace. It was also at this time, all the steps on the Een side were in a state of collapse. The Azure Dragon ancestor slightly said, "You still have 1 minute to finish the battle. After 1 minute, you will fall into the abyss and will not be able to get back up for the rest of your life. Remember, you must finish the battle within this minute." Remember, the Azure Dragon ancestor began to worry. He was very clear on what kind of space this secret realm was. Everything was set by the Yuan Long just to prevent people from stealing tombs. No matter how strong you were, as long as you fell into the bottomless abyss, your cultivation would be instantly devoured. It was like falling into hell, never to get back up. With his Een eye destroyed, Een Mo was furious. "Die! All of you must die!" The Een Mo let out a mournful sound. It was filled with violent killing intent. Long Fei thought for a moment, then looked at Song Chanqian and said, "You go up." Without giving Song Chanqian the chance to hesitate, he immediately roared out, "Quickly!" She chose to be very weak. This was caused by Song Chanqian's energy being exhausted. If she continued this, she would not even have the strength to fly up. Song Chanqian looked at Long Fei and said, "Be careful." Then, he leaped up and landed on another flight of steps. At this moment, the stone steps started to fall one by one. The Een Mo did not chase after Song Chanqian. What she wanted to kill the most was Long Fei. She stared at Long Fei, "Destroy my spring, destroy my path of survival. If you don't have that Yuan Long, you still have to hate me. Today, I don't care who you are, you will all die." Long Fei grinned and said, "Then come. Let's see who dies then." Een Mo was a boss. Although it was not the kind of boss that would dazzle people with its golden light, she was still a boss. Long Fei wanted to kill her. He had to kill her. Otherwise, how dissatisfied would he be? Long Fei was calm and unperturbed. He looked at the Een Mo and started laughing crazily. Come and kill me." Chapter 759, Explode for Me. Chapter 759, Explode for me, come on. Come and kill me. Long Fei was very proud, very wild. His arrogance had thoroughly angered Een Mo. However, this was what Long Fei wanted, as long as he enraged the Een demons, causing her to be unable to control her anger and lose her reason. Under this situation, all of her power would become attack. He would not defend. One move. Only need one move to create a bit of damage. On the surface, Long Fei looked very pleased and arrogant, but his heart was incomparably calm. He was very clear on the strength he had. If he wanted to fight Een Mo one-on-one, the chances of winning was almost zero. Thus, he wanted to suppress her in terms of IQ. The Een Mo was furious. The Een Chi on his body condensed in a 10,000 sword intense, crazily piercing Xiang Long Fei. Long Fei roared in his heart, "Golden Dragon Protector!" Golden Dragon Master shouted excitedly, "Understood." The Azure Dragon ancestor reminded, "You still have 10 seconds. Bang, bang, bang. The Golden Dragon's defense blocked the demonic's attack, but Long Fei still suffered some injuries. Holy Artifact defense? Een Mo's eyebrows moved as he took a step forward. The Azure Dragon ancestor said, "There are still 5 seconds left." Long Fei was still standing at his original position, not moving an inch. Watching the Een Devil's palm strike down, Long Fei said in his heart, "Hurry, hurry, hurry up." The Azure Dragon ancestor said, 2 more seconds. "It's about to sink," Song Chanqian also loudly shouted, "Be careful." Een Mo laughed crazily. "Brat, you can go to hell with me. Ha ha. Both of Long Fei's fists exploded as he roared out loudly, "Moonlit step." Whoosh! Bullet flew into the air, mountain hit fist. At this moment, all the steps in the Een surface collapsed. The Een Eye too fell apart. Een Mo looked at Long Fei, who had leaped into the air, and continued to laugh. "It's no use. As long as you leave the Een side, you will be engulfed. Ha ha. Is that so?" Long Fei grinned. The King Kong Fury ape on his fist suddenly roared, and with a punch, it struck the Een demon's head. Bam! Een Mo's body sank as a bright, red number floated above his head. 1. With the exception of MIS, it was the lowest number in history. He had to say it. This demon was too abnormal. When Long Fei used his full strength, he was only able to deal 1 damage. Otherwise, everything would have been in vain. Seeing the red color damage figure floating up, Long Fei moved. Multiple shadows technique. Open. At this time, Mo grabbed on a Long Fei's leg and laughed wildly. Go to hell with me, huh? You have to die too. She was dead. Even if the stairs did not collapse, she would not be able to hold on for more than a few minutes. With her eye destroyed, her strength would rapidly decline. No matter if she lived or fell, there would only be one outcome: die. It was also because he knew this that Long Fei desperately wanted to create a bit of damage. 1 point was enough. Seeing the Mo grabbing on a Long Fei's feet, Song Qianqian's heart tightened, feeling extremely worried. Be careful. Mo's body fell down, laughing maniacally. Let's go to hell together. Ha! Old thing Yuan Long. I've guarded your grave for more than 6 million years. In the end, it's still death. I hate you. I hate your entire dragon clan. It let out a mournful roar. Long Fei also fell into the abyss of darkness along with her. Song Qianqian's eyes darkened, his heart thumped, and he inexplicably felt pain. Long Fei. It's over. Falling into the abyss, it was impossible for him to slap it again. Moreover, this abyss had a powerful devouring force. So, no matter how high his cultivation was, he wouldn't be able to fly. Her heart also felt the same as Long Fei's after he sank into the abyss. The corners of his eyes were wet and tears were streaming down his cheeks. At this moment, bang, 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 one figure after another, Long Fei's figures frantically overlapped with each other in the darkness as 10,000 figures fell onto the ground together as fast as lightning. It was as if a ray of light had shot out from the dark abyss. The last figure had his arms wrapped around the stairs and turned to look at the bottomless abyss. Long Fei laughed coldly. If you want to die, you can go and die. I haven't lived enough. Tens of thousands of figures were moving back and forth in the darkness like a swing. Mo looked at the 10,000 Long Fei's and shouted unwillingly, "No, no." At this moment, the clones could not withstand the devouring power from the abyss. It was all gone. Mo let out a pitiful cry as he fell down. At this moment, Long Fei lied on the stairs as he looked at Song Qianqian, who was crying and flirting with him. Song Qianqian looked at Long Fei and gave him a fierce glare. Long Fei said, "Don't deny it, otherwise why would you cry? Let me think. This is our first time meeting in God's Phoenix Pavilion. You wouldn't have fallen for me at that time, right? Could it be love at first sight?" Long Fei continued to tease. Song Qianqian glared at him and said, "Can you not be so narcissistic?" Long Fei replied, "No, Puchi." Song Qianqian could not help but burst out laughing. He was still that mischievous and adorable. Her teary smile made the onlookers' hearts ache. Long Fei then faintly smiled and said, "Your smile is very beautiful. In the future, you are not allowed to frown anymore." Song Qianqian's smile immediately retracted, and his eyes became cold again. If she could not complete this mission, she would no longer be able to see her mother. Her mother was the only hope she had in her life. Long Fei looked at her eyes that had turned cold and let out a long sigh. What exactly happened? What a great girl. Why does she always look so cold and worried? It's been 8 years, young lady. This should be the happiest time of my life. Song Qianqian said slightly, "You don't need to care about my matters. Hurry up and solve the secret in the heaven and earth diagram." Long Fei said, "Compared to the secret of the Chinquan map, I care more about what you are thinking and worrying about in your heart. If there's anything you want to tell me." Song Qianqian looked at Long Fei, and when she saw his serious expression, she revealed a cold smile. "Who do you think you are? Do you think you're the strongest person in the world? Do you think you can solve anything? Do you think that just because you're a member of the Long family, you can do it? You are just a chess piece in the hands of others." Song Qianqian said loudly, as if someone had touched the reverse scale in her heart. It was also at this time. Long Fei's brows shook and made a silent gesture towards Song Qianqian and said, "Shoo." And then, Long Fei closed his eyes with a look of enjoyment on his face. His lips curled up, and he said gently, "Explode." Chapter 760, Opening the Yang Eye. Chapter 760, Opening the Yang Eye. The system beep rang. Long Fei was immediately shocked and nervous. However, he did not release his striking energy value, because what if he met an even stronger boss in the future? Ding! Congratulations, player Long Fei, for slaying baleful Demonis. Rewards: 170,000 experience points, 100,000 power of Celestial S, 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the 9 mystical Divine Sword. Women's use only. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining baleful Bloodvein. Do you wish to fuse them? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining congealing Fire God Palm. Women's training. It was also at this time. Ding! The baleful Bloodvein was swallowed by the dragon's salure. It dropped 3 items: a divine weapon, a set of divine arts, and a high-level Bloodvein. The Bloodvein was instantly devoured. There were 2 things that Long Fei could not cultivate. What the heck is this? Long Fei groaned his heart. Isn't that bullying? The most painful thing in the world is to see the Space Ring's divine weapon. It's very powerful, very sharp, and very powerful, but you can't use it or even move it, because you're not a woman. It was extremely bitter. Yin Huang Ancestor added fuel to the fire. Brat, this sword seems to only be used by females. Then don't blame me. Gudong, I haven't seen such a good item in a long time. Yin Huang Ancestor revealed an impatient look, just when he was about to devour it. Long Fei immediately took out the 9 Heaven Divine Sword and said, I see that your sword is a little too terrible. Seeing that you like me, I'll give you this sword. Yin Huang Ancestor. All right, boy, you are impressive. I don't have to eat the sword, but there is also a powerful power within this set of cultivation techniques. You should at least leave it to me. Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei said, there's a set of divine arts and palm techniques here. I'll also give them to you. Yin Huang Ancestor. I. Long Fei moved and said, this story tells us to never get cocky. It's useless. The Yin Huang Ancestor smiled faintly and said, I guess you have something in you. These 2 things have too much yin qi, so if you want to compete with my cultivation power, I won't devour it, even if you let me devour it. At this time, Long Fei was speechless. Damn, you tricked me? Yin Huang Ancestor replied, I'm just asking you to speed up your progress. If I didn't urge you, why would you give her the 9 Heavens Dark Divine Sword and Eveline Palm? If these 2 things are suitable for her, then her cultivation should be at least 1 notch higher. A martial artist that desires to become stronger will be grateful to you. Your relationship has advanced by another step. Boy, this is all I can help you with. Yin Huang Ancestor laughed and said, take her, and you will have 1 more Tiger General. Moreover, this girl's potential is so strong that it will explode. I'll definitely be able to help you. Song Qianqian couldn't react in time. Looking at the 2 swords in her hands, her heart tightened. They were both emitting endless enticement, as if they were tempting her. The 9 Heavens Sword's aura was very strong, and it caused a strong impact to her sea of consciousness. It was countless times stronger than the cold sword she used. Then there was the ancient book, which similarly radiated powerful energy. Long Fei looked at her dumbstruck expression. Since he had already given it away, he had no intention of bringing it back. Not waiting for him to finish, Song Qianqian suddenly put away the 2 items and said, you can't take back the things you have given away. Huh? Long Fei laughed bitterly and said, all right, then I won't be going back. But as for the exchange, I hope that you can laugh a bit more in the future, at least once a day. Song Qianqian's eyes darkened. Long Fei said, then why not? It's starting again, it's starting again. Isn't it better to be happy? Being happy is a day, and being unhappy is a day. Shouldn't you be having a happy day? Song Qianqian looked at Long Fei and said, the things that everyone is carrying are different. Long Fei said, you're the only one being different, You're the only being pressured. As you said earlier, I'm just another person's chess piece. I can see that you're another person's chess piece, right? No matter who uses us, do not worry, because one day they will pay the price for it. The appearance of the Pan family. The transformation of the supreme god. Long Fei could understand everything at a glance, even though he still didn't know the conspiracy behind this. Even if he knew, he wouldn't be able to do anything because he was too weak. He had one thing to do right now: become stronger. Strength is an eternal law. Only when you become strong can you shatter the void. With the sleigh, no one can use you to stop you. Song Qianqian went silent. Long Fei looked at her and said, "You already have something for me. Now laugh for me and let this young master laugh for a bit." The corner of Song Qianqian's mouth curled up slightly, and he gave a very forced smile. Under her veil, her smile was stiff. However, it was enough that she could laugh. It was enough that she could take the first step. Long Fei said indifferently, "Girls should smile more. Only then will people like them. It's not good to keep a straight face all day like people owe you money. That's not good." Looking at Song Qianqian, he couldn't help but think of Luluashi. He thought to himself, "How are you guys doing?" Long Fei made up his mind and quickly calmed down. He asked, "Azure Dragon, where should we go now?" The Azure Dragon ancestors said, "The third step from the right will be taken." Long Fei gently leaped and landed on the stairs mentioned by the Azure Dragon ancestor and said to Song Qianqian, "Follow closely behind me." Song Qianqian's thoughts also quickly calmed down. She then jumped after Long Fei, and looking at Long Fei's back for some reason, she started to worship him. If you're unhappy, it's a day. If you're happy, it's a day. Why aren't you happy? Mother, he said the same thing to you. From now on, I will definitely live happily. Even if I'm not happy, I will still smile heartlessly. Song Qianqian muttered in his heart as he looked at Long Fei's back. 10 minutes later, Long Fei and Song Qianqian stood on top of the Yang Eyes. The Azure Dragon ancestor said, "Now use your blood essence to open the Yang Eye." Remember, the difference between the Yang Eye formation and Mo is that the person inside the formation could be a giant demon or the head of a Yuan Longhe. Long Fei was startled and said, "Azure Dragon, you don't know either?" The Azure Dragon ancestor said, "Senior's instructions were too full. He only told me the way to the heaven and earth secret realm and not the location of the dragon head coffin." Long Fei looked at his surroundings and saw nothing but this patch of nothingness and thought to himself, "Only the Yang Eye is left in this place if I don't put it here. Where else could I be?" Huff! Long Fei exhaled deeply and said to Song Qianqian, "Stand behind me. I'm going to open my Yang Eyes." Chapter 761. The Head of the Yuan Long. Chapter 761. The head of the Yuan Long. Song Qianqian said, slightly, "Be careful." Long Fei nodded and said, "You too." Finished. Long Fei walked forward, and with a flick of his finger, a drop of blood essence condensed and dripped onto his Yang Eye. Next, a vortex appeared in the Yang Eye, just like the Yin Eye. However, this time, a scorching, unbearably hot, scorching sun aura burst forth from it, flowing without restraint. In contrast to the Yin Eye, there were no tomb watchers in the whirlpool. Long Fei's heart was moved. "What's going on?" The Azure Dragon ancestor said, "I don't know either. It's also the first time that I've been here." There was nothing in the whirlpool other than the intense yang energy flow. Long Fei's heart shook. Damn, it couldn't have been stolen, right? Is there even a golden field officer in this world? Stolen or the tomb of a dragon leader? Long Fei was dumbstruck. Song Qianqian asked, "What's wrong?" Long Fei shook his head and said, "It's a little strange. I feel that something is amiss." Dragon Head Chinquin map appeared in his mind. Where the hell is wrong? It's impossible for such a tomb to be stolen. Just what's wrong with it? Where were you last time you came in? Long Fei looked at Song Qianqian and asked. Song Qianqian said, "I only walked to the location of the Yin Eye, and I almost lost my life." At this time, she didn't try to hide anything, as Long Fei had definitely walked in with her. Looking at the vortex of the blazing sun, Long Fei said. There is no giant tomb guardians, no sky-burning dragon gun, and even more so no dragon heads. Could it be that this is an empty tomb? F***CK. Long Fei cursed angrily in his heart. The matter of crippled brains is truly annoying. I'm going all out. Long Fei turned around and said to Song Qianqian, if I don't come out, you need to think of a way to leave by yourself. Remember what I said, finished. His body fell back. Song Qianqian was shocked and shouted loudly, don't. When she rushed over, Long Fei had already fallen. The moment he fell, his young eyes were immediately closed. Other than a thick piece of rock, there was nothing else. It was as if Long Fei had never appeared. Song Qianqian crazily struck at his young eyes, causing his blood essence to drip, but to no avail. The young eyes did not open again. Who do you think you are? Do you think I want to live a happy life just because you made me happy? You're too arrogant. Come back here. Come back. Woo woo woo, Song Qianqian shouted, and in the end started to bawl loudly, crying his heart out as though she was a little girl who had lost something important. Crash. At the same time, the sky darkened as a figure landed heavily on the ground. Boom. A huge demon that was clad in heavy armor and had a blazing sun aura flowing in the gaps of its heavy armor descended. Its entire body was filled with an incomparably powerful aura. Those who trespass into the dragon tomb will die. Song Qianqian stopped crying and stared at Yang Mo. Her brows tightened as she asked, will he come out after I kill you? Yang Mo slashed horizontally with a huge flaming blade in his hand and roared. You lowly ants, you dare to be presumptuous in front of me? You're courting death. Song Qianqian unleashed all his firepower and summoned the inexhaustible sword intent from the Nine Heavens Een sword to attack Yang Mo. I will definitely save you. I will definitely save you. Ah! Song Qianqian fought with all his might. This was the second time she had fought with her life on the line. For the first time. The second time. For a man, Long Fei. And then there was Long Fei. As he fell into the vortex of the yang current, his yang eyes instantly closed. In that instant, he also entered another space, and he could see everything that was happening in that special space. Just like God's perspective. Seeing Song Qianqian crying so hard, his heart ached. Seeing Yang Mo landing, he became worried. Seeing Song Qianqian rushing towards him with all his might, Long Fei roared, Run, run. You're not his match. Hurry up and escape. However, his voice couldn't be heard. It was completely sealed inside the space. Seeing Song Qianqian constantly being crushed and having several wounds on his body, Long Fei became even more anxious and said, Silly girl, quickly run. Quick run. I want to get out, I want to get out. Long Fei was also struggling, but it was completely useless. He couldn't break free with his power at all. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded, Long Fei. Rumble. Long Fei turned around to look and saw that in the distance there was a gigantic dragon head. The dragon head did not rot, as if it was alive. Beside the dragon's head stood a gun. The spear that was engraved with dragon tattoos was simple and profound. It was silent for millions of years like an old man of the dragon clan, without any sort of luster or luster. There was no sign of life. It was as if a scrap of iron had been placed there. Long Fei looked at the dragon head and said, Are you the one that was talking? The voice of the idea above the dragon head sounded again and said, You have disappointed me so much. As a person who has achieved great things, you shouldn't have been troubled by women. Your previous performance just now had disappointed me so much. How are you going to save the Dragon Clan? How can we restore the Dragon Clan's former glory? Do you live up to the expectations of the dragon race? Each sound was thicker and stronger than the last. His tone was also extremely stern. However, Long Fei was very unhappy and directly scolded. Who the F***CK are you? Why should I restore the Dragon Clan's former glory? Why should I save the Dragon Clan? Who do you think you are? My father, my grandfather? He really didn't like the way she spoke to him. Just because he hated such a proud and arrogant manner, he wanted to teach him a lesson. Very unhappy, dragon head idea said, "Who am I? I am you, and you are me. It's just that you have yet to awaken your memories." "Stop! Hurry up and stop." Long Fei sneered and said, "You are you, and I am me. Don't mix us together. We are not the same type of person." Long Fei was very clear about this from the beginning. The Yuan Long is the Yuan Long, and he is him. He would not become a Yuan Long's reincarnation. The dragon head idea sank and said, "Do you really think so? The Long family is the dragon race, and the dragon race is the Long family. You were selected by me 6 million years ago." "It's that again." Long Fei laughed. The Azure Dragon ancestor had once said the same thing. However, why is the dragon race a Long family? Why is the Long family a dragon? Long Fei still couldn't understand. Just because of the blood veins inheritance? Why did they say that the dragon race was the Long family, and the Long family was the dragon race? Long Fei continued to speak. "The person you chose for 6 million is already dead. The current me is not the person you chose for me. I am me, not anyone." He was a transcender. It was not the person chosen by the dragon head. The dragon head idea sunk once again and said, "You said that you are not the person I have chosen. Then why did you come here, and why did you listen to the guidance of the green dragon?" Long Fei grinned. His smile was very sinister as he said, "It's very simple, because I want to take your strength for myself." Chapter 762, Sky-Burning Dragon Gun Attacks. Chapter 762, Sky-Burning Dragon Gun Attacks. The Azure Dragon trembled. The Blood Dragon shook as well. Black Dragon Ancestor, Ghost Dragon, and the Golden Dragon Master were all shocked. They were shocked by Long Fei's words. And take the power of Yuan Long for itself. It's not their boss trying to possess them, but Long Fei trying to seize their boss's body? The situation had changed too quickly. They cannot react in time. All this while, they had always thought that Long Fei was the Yuan Long, the leader of the Dragon Clan, their boss. Long Fei actually wanted to occupy the power of the head of the Yuan Long S. This, the Black Dragon immediately asked, "Azure Dragon, what's going on?" The Blood Dragon quickly asked, "Did something go wrong?" Jin Long was also worried. "Did we find the wrong person?" Ghost Dragon said, "Impossible. In this world, only boss's blood essence can wake us up, activate us, and no one else can." The Azure Dragon ancestor slightly said, "Ghost Dragon is right. In this world, only boss blood essence can wake us up. Why is it like this? I don't know either." He thought desperately. What had gone wrong? But he couldn't understand. The Azure Dragon asked the Black Dragon, "You've been following the boss the longest. Is there anything special about him?" The Black Dragon shook its head. "He's crazy, arrogant, and tyrannical. He hates evil, and his breakthrough is like flying. Moreover, everyone who follows him will be infected by his personality, and all of them will die for him. It doesn't matter if they are brothers or women. Isn't this the same as our boss? What's going on? How could they have known that Long Fei was a transcender? Who would have thought that Long Fei on Earth had already possessed Long Fei on the gods' Martial Continent? Who would have thought? Even if they were Dragon Clan ancestors, they wouldn't have thought of such a thing. They had never even heard of the word crossing before. What do we do now? Should I stop him?" Jin Long asked. Ghost Dragon said, "Big Brother Azure Dragon, say something. Should we stop him? If he really takes the power of the dragon head for himself, then when will our boss return? If he couldn't return, then who would be able to lead the Dragon Clan through this tribulation? There are only 5 years left." The Azure Dragon ancestor was also struggling in his heart. Yuan Long were too strong. He had planned out what would happen millions of years later, and one by one, all of these were part of his plans. But now that something like this had happened, the Azure Dragon knew how to deal with it. Moreover, the key point was that Long Fei had not awakened Yuan Long's memories yet. Was it because of this? At this moment, both the head and the head of the Azure Dragon were on the verge of exploding. Suddenly, Long Fei's idea moved and said solemnly, "I don't know what happened 6 million years ago, nor do I know what kind of calamity the dragon tribe was. But there is one thing I can guarantee. You are brothers. I will not let you die in vain. As for the calamity of the dragon race, I will endure it for sure. At this moment, he had to get help from the Azure Dragon and the others. At this moment, Azure Dragon's heart sank as he resolutely said, "Everyone, help him." Understood. Roger that. Make the absolute decision in an instant, and Patriarch Five Dragon's power will swiftly enter Long Fei's body. Along the way, they had clearly seen everything that Long Fei had done. Perhaps this was the Yuan Long's plan. It was also his plan from 6,300,000 years ago. 1. Asterisk, Long Fei's body trembled. The powerful aura of a dragon burst out, covering the sky and the earth. The dragon head's voice was filled with rage. Azure Dragon, Golden Dragon, Black Dragon, Ghost Dragon, Blood Dragon. What are you all doing? Didn't you hear what he said? Take control of him and let me enter his body to possess him. Long Fei laughed out wildly and said, "Times are changing. People are changing too. I am the true king of the dragon race. I'm the hope of the dragon race. You, it's just a 6 million-year-old corpse. Don't worry. What you have failed to accomplish, I will succeed. I will be able to protect the things that you cannot protect. I will be much more powerful than you. Head of the Yuan Long, give me your power." Long Fei's heart exploded, and he roared out, "Azure Dragon, appear." Roar. The green dragon within the green dragon tripod soared into the air. He was ignited by Long Fei's words, especially the domineering attitude of the king of the dragon tribe. Extremely arrogant. At the same time, the 8 golden dragons followed closely behind. Come. Black Dragon Ancestor also rushed out of the dragon cellar. Ghost Dragon, the Blood Dragon, also rushed out from Long Fei's body. 12 Dragon Clan patriarchs, who were also 12 Dragon Clan generals, surrounded the dragon head. At this moment, the roared out from the dragon head, "Fun Tian, buzz." The sound of snatching shook the surroundings, and it seemed as if the sky was about to split open. The sky-burning dragon gun burst out with golden light. Bam! The dragon spear exploded with power. The dragon tattoos on the spear began to emit a golden light, and the power of the burning heaven began to dissipate. The spear moved. Boom! It pierced through the void and stabbed towards Xiang Longfei. The Azure Dragon Ancestor shouted, "Boss, be careful." The 8 golden dragons also revolved instantly and flew towards Xiang Longfei, but they were too far away from him. There was simply no time to return to Long Fei's body. At this moment, Long Fei roared out and said, "Nobody comes." And then, Long Fei stood in place, unmoving. There was no aura or energy flowing out from his body, not even one bit. His 2 eyes looked at the sky-burning dragon gun that was piercing towards him without blinking. "Fun Tian, kill him." "Ha ha, boy, you were created by me. If I can make you, I can destroy you." The arrogant voice of the dragon head sounded. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up as he laughed disdainfully. "I have never belonged to anyone. I am me, a super handsome guy." As soon as he finished, Long Fei's eyes darkened. He stared at the sky-burning dragon gun and said, "I'm going to ask you one thing. Do you want to go out? Do you want a wonderful life? Do you want your blood boiling? Do you want to be the center of attention? Or should I say, you want to stay silent here and sink in for another 6 million years or even longer? Do you?" Word for word. Every word pierced the heart. Every word carried killing intent. Long Fei was unable to withstand the power that erupted from the sky-burning dragon gun's body. No one could stop him. However, Long Fei knew what a weapon wanted. He wanted to be the overlord of all weapons, just like how a martial artist wanted to be the strongest king. The sky-burning dragon gun had been quiet for 6 million years. He was unknown, and no one in the entire God's martial continent remembered his existence. In this dragon head graveyard, he was nothing but a useless metal pillar. The sky-burning dragon gun thrusted forward. The Azure Dragon Ancestor's heart tightened, and the other patriarch's expressions changed greatly as well. He thought to himself, "It's over. Boss is going to die." Chapter 763, Dragon World. Chapter 763, Dragon World sky-burning dragon guns were unstoppable, let alone Long Fei. Even the current Azure Dragon and the others would have difficulty resisting the explosion of his power. You know, this sky-burning dragon gun was brought from another plane and was also the head of the dragon tribe's divine weapons. How terrifying was his strength! Long Fei would be killed instantly. However, Long Fei remained unmoving, calm, and collected. Just like a rock, he stood there quietly and asked, "Do you want to?" Chua! The sky-burning dragon gun's powerful impact came as Long Fei's clothes and hair fluttered in the air. At the same time, a powerful force also crushed his mind. Without the protection of the Golden Dragon Protector, it was very difficult. It was on the verge of collapse. However, Long Fei was just as calm and bet everything on it. Buzz! The power in the spear exploded out. The tip of the dragon's spear was practically touching Long Fei's forehead, and a drop of blood was flowing out. However, the sky-burning dragon gun listened. The surroundings instantly quieted down. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up as he said excitedly, "I can give you everything you want." "He can't." "I can." His voice was so quiet that even a pin drop could be heard. It was as if the entire world was forbidden. Long Fei was also afraid in his heart. This was because he was betting his life on the fact that once he lost, he would be eternally doomed with nothing left to lose. Drip. A second passed. Drip, drip. Another second passed. To the current Long Fei, a second felt like a whole year. Waiting was too uncomfortable, too torturous. Waiting, with the dragon's spear pointed at his forehead, was a type of torture. 3 seconds passed. The dragon head idea sank, fiercely roared, and said, "Funtion, I'll let you kill him, kill him. Kill him, do you hear me? I'm telling you to kill him. He's just a piece of trash from the arrogant, immortal state. He can't do what he says. Only I can." Buzz! A violent gunshot rang out as the head of the dragon head was crushed. And then, the dragon spear retreated and stood in front of Long Fei. His aura also instantly quieted down. Long Fei took a step forward and clearly saw the dragon mark on the dragon spear. Every inch of it emitted an endless amount of power and was extremely thick. His right hand moved and grasped it heavily. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The power from the dragon's spear burst out, directly rushing into Long Fei's mind. Within his consciousness, the memories of the dragon's spear exploded within Long Fei's mind. It was a contest of 10,000 soldiers. The slaughter continued. The world of weapons was more brutal than the world of fighters. Dragon Spear Spirit. He was also competing for hegemony. Long Fei could feel the killing intent. This was an expression of the dragon spear. It was also a test. Could you withstand it? Can you give me this kind of beauty? At this moment, Long Fei's mind stirred. Killing thought, open for me. The killing intent in his mind flowed into his consciousness. Long Fei roared out, "I train in the path of death, and just from this point alone cannot be compared with Yuan Long. I am indeed not strong now, but I will definitely stand at the peak of this world. If you follow me and follow me, I will make you famous throughout the universe." Rumble! The aura of the dragon spear exploded once more. This time, it was incomparably excited, and his blood boiled. His aura within Long Fei's sea of consciousness immediately disappeared, and the answer he wanted was given by Long Fei. Just the Tao of death alone was enough. Surrender in an instant. The dragon head idea roared, "No, no, Funtion, you actually betrayed me. Azure Dragon, Blood Dragon, Golden Dragon, you people actually betrayed me. Betrayal of the entire dragon clan. You will regret it." At this moment, Long Fei slowly walked forward, stood in front of Dragon Head, and said, "You are you. I am me, but I can be you, but you can't be me. I will inherit what you carry on your back, and you is destined to be eliminated by history. From today onwards, I will become a Yuan Long. It's the new leader of the dragon race. My name is Long Fei, the king of the dragon tribe." The blood in Long Fei's body boiled, excitement written all over his face. At the same time, the 12 giant dragons were equally excited incomparably excited. The dragon spear in Long Fei's hand shook and shouted out loud, "Do it!" The dragon head let out the most primitive roar and said, "Yang Mo, kill her for me. Use the most cruel method to kill her." At the same time, he thought to himself, "Brat, this is the only thing I can do for you. A girl's love will only slow you down. You have no time. Since the calamity has descended upon you, you have no time to do anything else. The only way out for you is to become stronger. Perhaps I have become history, but I don't want you to become history like me, huh?" The dragonhead idea laughed out wildly. Everything he had done was for the entire dragon clan. He had failed twice, and he didn't want the dragon clan to fail again. Otherwise, the dragon clan would have no chance at all. The dragon race would disappear from the universe. Long Fei looked at Song Qianqian in her eyes. She was already heavily injured, and her entire body was drenched in blood, but she didn't run. She only had one thought in her mind: kill Yang Mo and save Long Fei. Long Fei watched with a pained expression on his face and roared loudly. Fuse. Rumble. The Azure Dragon ancestor released a dragon's roar. His image fiercely rushed into the dragon head, absorbing a large wave of power, and then returned into Long Fei's body. Boom! A burst of power burst out from Long Fei's body. The system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining power of Yuan Long. Do you wish to fuse it? Fuse. Buzz. The incomparably strong power of Yuan Long followed Long Fei's action and burst out from his body crazily. This was the first time Long Fei felt such a strong feeling. An unending stream. This is power? Is this the power of a Yuan Long? This is too exciting. Long Fei's entire being was boiling. Boom! The black dragon drilled into Long Fei's body. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining power of Yuan Long. Do you wish to fuse it? Fuse. Long Fei did not hesitate and continued to fuse them. Every fusion of his energy was a crazy upgrade, and his memory fragments also started to reform bit by bit. He saw images from 6 million years ago. He saw the dragon domain. It was a continent floating in the sky. Tens of thousands of dragons flew. All races paid their respects. Master the world. This feeling was too strong. Moreover, the golden light shot out in all directions from one side of the continent. It was not the light of a boss, but rather a mountain of spirit treasure, holy artifact. Is this the secret treasure of the Dragon Clan? F*CK. He's mine. 10 chapters of Berserk today. 7 chapters first in the morning. 3 chapters more today. Chapter 764. Yuan Long Without a God. Chapter 764. Yuan Long Without a God. The 12 dragon patriarchs crazily absorbed the energy from the dragon heads, and then crazily released the energy they had absorbed to Long Fei. With every fusion, his power would increase explosively. Every time he absorbed the memory fragments in his mind, there would be more. Like the islands floating in the sky in the immortal world, the scene of 10,000 dragons soaring into the sky, the dazzling golden light of the spirit treasure holy artifact mountain. All these things appeared in the memory shards. Very powerful, truly powerful. Long Fei, who was watching, felt his blood boiling. However, these were all scenes from over 6 million years ago. What he truly wanted to know was why those experts from the Long family had disappeared. Could it be the same as the dragon race's calamity? In terms of timing, it did match, but why Long family? Was it because the ancestors of the Long family had entered the prehistoric realm to kill the black dragon ancestor and fuse with their dragon spirit blood that they suffered the same fate as the ancestors of the Long family? Compared to the dragon race, he wanted to know what kind of calamity the Long family was. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining power of Yuan Long. Do you wish to fuse it? Fuse. Long Fei continued to fuse them. At the same time, he saw that Song Qianqian, who was in his young eyes, was almost done for. Yang Mo received the orders from the dragon head. As long as he kills Song Qianqian, he would regain his freedom and leave this place. His strength was so ferocious that even Song Qianqian was unable to resist. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Long Fei's heart burned with impatience as he loudly urged them on. If he did not absorb the energy from the head of the Yuan Long, he would not be able to walk out. The Azure Dragon ancestor roared, "Everyone, hurry up!" Long Fei was now the Yuan Long in their hearts. They could not handle the dragon race. Absolute boss. Long Fei's order was everything. Although they wanted to obtain the power of the dragon head, they did not dare to be greedy in the slightest. Ding, ding, ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining power of Yuan Long. Do you wish to fuse it? Fuse. Long Fei ordered again. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for fusing with power of Yuan Long. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for fusing with Dragon Head. You have received 100 experience points, 100 power of Celestial, and 100 special points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Yuan Long secret skill, Yuan Long God-less Spear. Do you wish to cultivate it? Several notifications sounded consecutively. Long Fei's heart trembled slightly. Every time the 12 dragon heads absorbed the power of the dragon heads, their heads would wither a little. Right now, the gigantic dragon heads still had a lot of energy left, but to Long Fei, this was already enough, because he had already fused with the body of a dragon head. Even if he were to merge again, it would be useless. Immediately, Long Fei said, "As for the remaining dragon head energy, you all absorb it yourselves. How to distribute it among yourselves? The important thing is to be fast." His heart was shocked once again. This dragon head's power is too strong. The dragon head that had completed its fusion in Long Fei's mind floated in his sea of consciousness. He could clearly feel the power of the dragon head, and he could control it however he wished. Can they transform into dragons? Long Fei moved. The system sounded out immediately. Ding! The technique failed. The incomplete dragon body is unable to transform into a dragon. As expected, Long Fei's heart felt at ease. Seems like I have to look for the Yuan Long's body and complete the fusion to become it. At that time, you must have been extremely domineering. At the same time, Long Fei looked at the new skill that he had just acquired. Skill path, Yuan Long God-less Spear technique rank. Dragon Clan secret skill, high god level. Consumption, 100,000 power of celestial description. This spear technique only has one move. There will be no life or death, and once it is released, the world will be destroyed. Description 2. This cultivation technique can only be used with the sky-burning dragon gun. Description 3. The power of destruction is too strong. If you don't live, you die. Use it carefully. Let me do it. To think you're reminding me to use it with caution. If there's such a description of a cultivation technique, then how powerful is this move? Could it be that it is more harmful than the big day Tashigata? Long Fei's heart started boiling. The turn Yin Long in a god required 1,000,000 points of power of celestial to be used. He did not know how strong the damage was, but right now, Long Fei's cultivation technique was the most powerful. However, the description of the big day Tashigata also did not make him use it with caution. It could be seen that the Yuan Long's godless spear was even fiercer than Tathagatus. Ding! Do you wish to cultivate it? Long Fei could not wait and said, "Cultivate! We must cultivate!" Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for training the Yuan Long godless spear. You have gained 100 experience points. Power of Celestial 100 points. The reward is a special 100-point reward. Bam! Suddenly, a loud sound rang out. Song Qianqian's young eyes were pierced through by Yang Mo's blade, and he landed heavily on the ground. Song Qianqian spat out a mouthful of blood, but she did not stop. It was the first time she had failed to protect what she wanted to protect. This time, she wasn't even protecting him. What's the use of me? Looking at the incomparably huge Yang Mo, he picked up the nine-heaven Een divine sword from the ground and gritted his teeth. Return long fate to me. Shua! The sword concept tore through the air, and Song Chanchian once again rushed forward. Yang Mo was also agitated by her. She had never met such an annoying person. She stared at Song Chanchian with contempt and said, "Lowly trash. Go to hell." Yang Mo's power exploded as well, and a strong burst of power from the scorching sun came crushing down. Long Fei's expression tightened as he looked at the Azure Dragon ancestor and the others, who were still constantly devouring the power of the dragon head. Absolutely not. Cluck, cluck. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, his teeth grinding loudly. He stared straight at Yang Mo and roared, "Stop, stop now." His voice could not be heard at all. Yang Mo could not hear it, and even if he could, he would not care. If he wanted to be free, he had to kill the girl in front of him. F***CK. Long Fei was enraged, and the sky-burning dragon gun in his hands moved. Long Fei looked at him and said, "Use your strongest power." Buzz! The humming of the spear could be heard. The ear-piercing sound was unbearable. Long Fei's spear pierced through empty space. Roar! There was an explosive sound in the air as the flames on the sky-burning dragon gun formed spear shadows and shot out. Crack! Kacha! There were almost no obstructions, and the space was pierced through. This dragon spear was too fierce. The air shattered as Long Fei rushed out of thin air. It was also at this time that the corner of Yang Mo's eyes twitched as he glanced at Long Fei, who had charged out of the air. He wanted freedom. Then let's kill Song Chanchian. As Song Chanchian watched Long Fei charge through the void and jump out, the corner of her mouth slightly curled up and laughed softly. "It's good that you're still alive." His smile was as brilliant as a summer flower. At the same time, when her eyes closed, she could not hold on. Young Mo angrily slashed down with his blade. In that moment of life and death, Long Fei did not care about the system prompt and immediately roared, "Yuan Long S have no divine spear." You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.